Hey, there we go. Oh, hang on, I've still got music going. There you go.
How's things, pal?
All right, mate. How you doing?
Aye, I'm doing well, doing well.
Oh, fucking hell. I'm bleeding up down here.
Yeah, we're we're a wee bit milder today, but tomorrow hotter, Sunday even hotter. Monday we're heading towards 28, 29.
Yeah.
So even, I mean, like for Scotland, even for the weather forecast to be reporting 29 degrees, that's serious. Like
Yeah.
for here, because
Well,
that doesn't normally happen. So
they think down here we could break the UK record of 38.2.
yeah, yep.
So,
I've heard mooted 40 degrees quite easily.
mm,
So it is African heat that we're getting. So like it is going to be hot. Don't want to be a weather forecaster, but what happens is the low pressure sitting to the left, the west, and the high pressure sitting to the east, and the African heat's coming up from. That's what's happening.
yeah,
So
that's what's
that's
happening.
what we tend to be getting.
You just needed a blue screen behind you and do
Thanks very much, and look at it, it's coming up.
No,
Oh, dear.
I've been getting, even on my little 30-mile commute, I've been getting so hot on the bike.
Yep.
It's just, even when you're moving now, it's feeling the heat.
We're kind of sort of like where I am just now, like kind of. I'm in the west of Scotland, but it's round about Glasgow Airport, and what we've been getting is very warm in the morning.
Yeah.
Then a weather front's been coming in and just hanging with us all day
Hmm.
till about 1, maybe 2 o'clock in the afternoon,
Yeah.
breaking and disappearing, and it's just progressively going 18, 19, 20. Now, like during the day, from like 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, rain, dull,
Yeah.
damp, cold,
Yeah.
to rain again, to then 1 o'clock in the afternoon, bone dry, the surface is dry, and then bang, before you know it, it's like, my God, it's so bloody hot.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I know what you
It's
mean.
weird. It's not been consistent for us. It's been really, really strange.
I know, but it's even getting to the point now at the moment where trying to sleep at night. I mean, we got the fan on, we're laying on top of
Yeah.
covers, and I'm still waking up in the middle of the night, turning over, and everything's soaking wet. You just,
Yeah.
oh,
I honestly don't have any problem with that. Our servant just wafts us. We just
that's all
ask
right
him
then.
to
Yeah,
waft. We just
you got
ask him to waft a wee bit
you got
harder.
you got a wee English man up there wafting you.
Faster, Jeeves, faster.
Yeah, and he's bringing you your water.
Aye, that was the last thing I needed that night. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
What?
I do think it's funny. You walked up there and asked for a latte. I said, "There's a man after me own art. He drinks
I said, "Can I
latte."
get a latte, please?" Coffee machine's off. Oh, fuck. You can't say for fuck's sake on your
Yeah.
on your video, you know what I mean? But
Oh, you
aye,
can. I do. I swear quite regularly on mine.
yeah, well, you heard me swear when the two cars turned the corner without
Yeah.
indicating.
I did. I must admit, I was watching your video, but I was actually doing something, and I was looking away when it
Aye,
happened, and I heard you swear, and I was like, "Oh fucking hell!" Stuart
aye.
don't normally do that.
No, I don't. I don't. It takes a wee bit. And one of the strange things that happened to me this week, I'm going to share it with you because I'm quite confident. But I might not actually be confident, you know, that way because it's YouTube and YouTube's strange. But my boss actually, I was in my work and he's like, "Can I have a word with you?" I was, "Oh shit, what have I done?"
Hmm.
Aye, Graham, no bother. So he sort of pulled me into the office and he's like, he just bought a Triumph, a 650, whatever it is. It's like an
Yeah.
adventure bike. It's a lovely bike, beautiful bike. He's sitting there with his helmet and that. He's like, I've just bought a GoPro. I'm all right. So where do you think I should put it on my helmet? I'm like, well, he's like, no, well, I was looking for rides in my area and I was Googling Ayrshire bike rides, and I saw a guy on YouTube, Ayrshire Vlogster.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right, okay. I'm sitting there as cool as a cucumber, like sweating like fuck, because I knew, like, all right, okay. And he's like, I was watching one of Ayrshire Vlogster's live streams. Where do you know? Aye.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm looking. It says, and I'm like, I recognise that guy. And I'm sitting there like, oh, Zedhead. Like, all right, okay. It's like, aye. It's like, ah, it was you. It's like, ah, all right, okay. It's like, aye. So I went on your channel. It's like, did you? Aye. So I'm sweating even more. It's like, did you? Aye. It's like, yeah. I'm subscribed to your channel now. So fucking cool.
You're like, shit, I'm taking all those videos down. I slagged him off.
No, honestly, it's like, and I went home to my wife and I'm like, "Oh, my boss is a subscriber now." It's like, Louise, and I said, I'm just so glad I have not done any I bloody hate my job videos, because I haven't. I keep my job well and truly out. Paul, how you doing? I keep my job well and truly out my videos. I always have. It's one of the things that I do. It's like I do a wee bit of sort of family. If I'm busy with the family, I say that I am. I don't elaborate on what it is and
Yeah.
I'm busy about, but it's mostly about the channel. But yeah, he's like, I don't know. It's like I started off as like I followed Ayrshire Vlogster and I was watching his video and I saw him and I saw you were on his live stream and I followed you and then I followed Lockwood. So he's like, he's following all the guys. I'm like, my God, that's right. Okay, I need to be careful now. No, but I don't
Yeah.
really. But it's like, it's funny. It's like you don't actually consider who's actually watching you until you know who's watching you. Kind of.
Yeah. I agree. Since my channel started, one of my first subscribers was actually one of our managers
Right.
at the mail centre, and he's a biker as well, so he
Yeah.
loved it, and he said, "Oh, you're doing really." He always comments, "Oh, you're doing really well." He says,
That's
"Oh, I
good.
saw your video the other day. That was brilliant." And that Porsche driver, he was a wanker, weren't he? And he
Yeah.
comes out. He's pretty cool about it. But
Yeah. And
my
that's
videos, I've
good.
only ever done one where I've mentioned the company and I work for them,
Yeah.
and that was at the very beginning when there's a dispute with CW and them,
Yeah.
my union and them, and it's the first time I've mentioned them.
Yep.
And it was all because we was going into a dispute and that, but at the same time, you've got to try and not say anything derogatory
No.
towards your company, haven't you?
See
Because
that.
all companies have got this policy where it can be seen as taking the
Yeah.
company into disrepute by
Well,
slagging them
yeah,
off on.
exactly. But see the thing about it is like that kind of my whole work life is that's where the boundary lies
Yeah,
with my sort of motor vlogging. Because I've done motor vlogs where I've ridden towards my work and I've ridden away from my work, but I've never shown my work
yeah,
during the vlog, if you understand what I mean.
I know.
Because I've been coming to work on my bike because I've been going somewhere later on and I've cut my work cleanly out of it. And I know that I've done it. You probably would watch the video and you wouldn't know that I've actually done that, but that's what I've done. So
Yeah,
it's a conscientious decision. One of the reasons behind that is I don't want people to know that I've got a £4,000 bike sitting where people know that it's sitting. If you understand what I mean. So that's one of the reasons that one of the reasons why I don't show where I work.
yeah,
Because, like I say, you don't know who's watching your videos. They could be scoping you out. They could be trying to
yeah.
work out where your home is, where your work is, and work out a best policy to lift your bike at the most inopportune moment for yourself. And I don't want that to
It's like
happen.
I think Andy put one of his very first videos up, and the first thing I said was, "You started that sat on your bike outside your house.
Yeah,
That's
that's
never a good idea."
no.
I always start down the road.
Yeah,
I always finish before you can see my workplace.
yeah.
When I'm coming away from work, my work's behind me, so you don't know. You know what road I'm on, but
Yeah.
I could work anywhere in any one.
Well, that's entirely it. It's like even I've got a certain area that if I'm leaving the house, that's when my videos will start.
Mhm.
I'll just hit play on the video at that point. It'll never be even in the scheme where I live.
No.
Now the ZX9 videos that I'm doing, you would not identify where I am when I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
that. I'm at a lockup. You'll know that I'm at a lockup, but you'll
Mm-hmm.
not know where that lockup is because
No.
I've set it up in such a way that you'll not instantly say, "Oh, I know exactly where that is." You know, it's like I try and keep the camera as close to where I'm working as possible.
I
So
mean, good advice for anybody that wants to start vlogging and that is don't start it on your fucking doorstep showing your address,
yeah, absolutely. And
because you don't know who's watching and they might want your bike, whatever it is.
yeah,
And
but the thing, another major thing is as well is like what a lot of people don't realize is metadata when it comes to
Mhm.
photographs.
Yeah,
Um,
take your location. Yeah,
so like it gives an actual geolocation, which is probably the most accurate location that you could get. It could pinpoint you within what, a meter, half a meter of where you actually are.
yeah,
So you
yeah.
have
It's
to be
better than what
careful with
free
that.
word. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's why you can actually turn that off. Location on your photos on your phones and things like that. I know you can turn that off,
I don't know if you've
but does
noticed.
that turn it completely off? I don't
I
know.
I don't know if you've noticed, but I've not actually posted any photographs on Instagram for a while, and it's because and what I think has happened is the last time I put my my phone on my mount on my bike,
Yeah,
when I switch on my main camera now, I've got the it's a Huawei P30
yeah.
Pro, so it's got the 3 lenses. So if I was to I might actually do it and see if you can hear it through the lens. Wait, the microphone. Wait, yeah. I'll I'll turn on, where is it? Camera. See if I can get it to do it. Switch over. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
So what that is, that's the lens trying to focus. So
Hmm.
basically, because that's been sitting on my bike and the vibration in my bike, it's
Yeah.
caused the lens has shifted,
Ah,
and
ah,
it's sitting behind a part of the inside of the phone. So it's
ah.
constantly trying to move back into focus, and it's jamming. I've
Wow.
been quoted over £80 just for the replacement part alone, and that's without. So that's why I've not, when I'm out on my bike, I've not been taking any pictures, and it's so annoying.
Well, try getting a
Sorry.
lens repaired on one of them. That's the Z Fold 3,
Right, okay.
and
Who is it
that's
that makes
bloody
that,
expensive.
Simon?
Huh?
Who is
Samsung.
it that makes Samsung? Right, okay.
It's got the yeah, I'll open it up. Basically, it opens up.
Oh,
It's a
right,
Z
okay.
Fold,
That's
yeah,
yeah.
and then yeah,
Yeah.
so it's got the 2 screens. You can open it up like an iPad to use it, but
So
everything to replace on that is fucking expensive. So
I'm actually looking just now. It's like right now for me I need to spend £139 to buy myself out the contract for that
yeah,
before I enter into another contract for another phone, which is looking like it's probably going to be the most practical way of getting a phone that can take photographs.
yeah,
But I'm
yeah. I like
probably
what
I'm probably at the I'm probably going to go to my bike and just take the mount that I've got and throw it away and never mount my phone on the bike again. Because I know that I know what was the mount that you put in and turn. What's the name of that?
quad lock. Is that
Quad
quad lock?
Quad lock. They had that issue as well, didn't they? Because it was doing that to phones.
Yeah, they
And
have to put vibration
well,
down.
mine's is the one that actually goes into the headstock and it's got the ball. Yeah, sure. How you doing? All right, Mark.
Right.
How you doing, buddy?
Hello,
And he's gone. I didn't do that.
am I working?
Is that new?
Yeah, you're on, Matt. You're on. Yeah,
Oh, right. It's all right. I've got different headset on, so it's like I wasn't sure whether these ones was working.
yeah. No, you're on. You're on. You're on. You're all good.
I've got my earplugs in rather than my headphones.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I've never mounted my phone on the bike. Never done it.
Yeah.
If I need to, my tank bag has got the bit on the front I
Yeah.
can put the phone into.
Yeah. So I was looking at actually see is it a bag locks or something like that you
Yeah.
can buy the mount that goes onto the ring around your fuel cap.
Yeah.
and then you just lock it in. I was looking at that because it had the clear faceplate on that
Yeah.
you can look down.
That's a little givey bag, and that
Uh-huh.
cost me £32, and it's magnetic,
Yeah.
and it works fine. 32
Yep.
quid. And what I tend to do is I tend to stick. I'm using it for work now, so I'm sticking my phone chargers in there, my earpods for work, my 2 phones, my wallet, and everything's going in there. My keys, the lot, and it's left absolutely nothing in my jacket now because I'm using my summer jacket. And obviously, it's got really shit pockets for it.
I've got a cheap one off of Amazon on my handlebar. It's an ochre for something. It's waterproof case.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah, I don't seem to have problems with my. Well, when I came off my bike, my phone was perfectly all right.
Yeah, the thing is, Matt, you get a lot less vibrations on your bike than Stu would on his bike, thundering down. At the speed Stu goes. So, because it's not just the vibrations from the engine; it's everything your suspension's taken away from.
Yeah.
It all travels up through the handlebars.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
you don't realise that it's like I had an iPhone before I had a Huawei, and like it was only seemed to be the Huawei that. Well, like I went to take a photograph, and I'm like, what's going on here? Is I could hear it buzzing like anything, and that's what it was. I handed my mate used to work for 3 Mobile, and he's like, listen, big man, that's going to cost you at least 80 quid for the whole camera system. He says, I'm going to be at least another 80 quid to fix it. So that's 160 quid, and I can get a new phone for 130. And I'm like, it's a no-brainer. He says, I'm just going to ditch it then.
I've got Oppo.
Welcome back, Mark. How long are you staying this time?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, aye.
Can you hear me now?
Scottish then, did you hear that?
Is that the off button you pressed there, mate?
I don't know what's going on.
How's the new setup doing? That's a good question. How's the new setup doing? Are you settling into it?
Yeah. I got the Rode Wireless Go set up as well, but I can't. For the life of me, I can't get it to work on this. So
right.
But it'll be good for when I take the camera off the chin mount, the Hero 7. Put it on the top. So the big test is the Wild Bad Weekend with Lockwood. So we'll see how that goes.
Aye. Well, when is it you're getting down to that? That's July, isn't it? It's like later on the month.
End of the month weekend. So
good.
He's using Kali Moto. We're going down on Thursday, and he's using the Kali Moto app. So it'll probably take us like 2 days to get there. But anyway,
go on the Twitter. How do you want to get there? Twisties, you'll be like up in Lockwood. Why are we in John O'Groats?
See, the worst thing is I'm sharing a hotel with him, right? So, but see, in the last video, he commented on my ass on the bike, and I'm like, hold on a minute, I'm sharing a hotel room with you.
Oh yeah, it's gonna get interesting.
So I'm thinking to myself,
take a sleeping bag.
Aye, and I'll be using straps to strap me in it so he can't get in with me.
Right, okay, right. Can I just suggest a title for the vlog straight away? Broke back biking.
The thing is, do you know me? I'll probably do a video with that title.
I know that, mate. I know. That's
broke
brilliant,
back biking, love it.
But I've been trying to jump on for probably about 40 minutes, just at the end of Revs thing I was trying to jump on, but I just couldn't get the Rode Wireless Go to work because I had it clipped in and I had the mic away for this and it just didn't work. So,
what was it? An audio? Was it an audio issue? Was it connecting to the computer or?
Everything's connected. I just wasn't getting any audio. So I don't know what it was. So I'll have a wee look at it. You know what I'm like. I'll get to the bottom, mate.
Yeah, you'll be
technology. You got to love it, haven't you? You got to love technology.
Do
you remember the end of one of my live streams, Stu, where it kicked me out my live stream and it wouldn't let me back in?
Listen, I remember the start of my live stream when you never
that was funny.
the mic on. And I was too pissed to realise it wasn't me, it was you.
You see that? Simon, help me! Simon, help me! So I'll
That's-
jump on and help him
That's
sit
right,
again.
it's like, Simon, what's going on here? It's like, I'm trying pressing all the buttons and I can't hear you. It's like, oh, it's me. Sorry, Stu. I'm like, for God's sake.
No, I just had to, because I'm using my wireless headset, I've just had to go into the settings of StreamYard and tell it that I'm on my wireless headset rather than on what I normally use.
Yeah, so I've got like these are just like Goodman's generics, earpod kind of things.
Yeah, that,
My computer recognizes them, but it's like they see the notification when it says they need charged. It means that you need to go like that, take them off and charge them straight away. It does. It's not. There's not a. You've got half an hour to go. So in a
It's
live
not like
stream,
you've got 10% left. It's like, we can
it's
charge him. Bye.
in a live stream, it's a nightmare. It's just like you're like they're gone. So that's why I'm hardwired.
It's been ages since I've used this headset, so I could disappear at any time in terms of audio. So I can't remember the last time I charged it. Aye, that's it, exactly.
So Mark.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, you said Mark, not Matt.
What bike have you got? I know that you've been looking at a couple. Are you still sitting on? Are you looking? Is it a secret?
I've already.
Yes.
My bike's already sold potentially.
Right. Okay.
That's already been agreed, price, everything else. So I'm looking. What I'm looking for, right, is I want an MT10, but I don't want the mileage that I get with it. So I've started kind of stepping back for it. So I've had the MT10, the new one. I've had the MT09 SP.
Yep. I saw the question on YouTube. That's what sparked my question tonight. Was
the XSR.
Yeah. Yep.
The reason I'm looking at the XSR is, well, aesthetically, I love it. I love all the wee bits and bobs. Am I back?
You're back, but you're frozen.
Yeah, we got a green screen.
Oh,
you're back. You're back. You're here. You're in the room.
So the XSR. So I better get this out quick in case it cuts me off. The XSR, I love the looky. I love the wee bits and bobs on it. I've shot a lot of footage when I went to MCS. I've also shot a lot of footage of the MT09 SP. I've already been out in it. One of the guys I got with let me go take it for a run. I've got the MT10. I've also got the 1000 RR review today for another subscriber that is happy enough to let me have his bike, which is brilliant. It's a 16 plate, but I'm not looking at sports bikes. So it's the XSR, MT09 SP, or I just fling it all out and go for the MT10. But I might take the MT10 SP.
Ooh.
So I'm kind of. I also got potentially my first sponsor, which is a company called InBike. I'm currently talking to them just now, which they've just started. They do a lot of cycling stuff. So I've now moved into motorbiking or motorcycles, and they've been in contact with me. So I might have my first sponsor as well.
Oh, good.
So
good.
We'll see how it goes. Maybe that video of me saying I was going to chuck it all in was a good video to make. Because I've had hundreds of contact for people. I've got two S1000 RRs that they're quite happy for me to take. I've got an MT09 SP. I've got an MT10. There's a couple of other bikes that have come into the fray as well. Then the photo shoot with Lockwood kind of opened my eyes a wee bit. I loved the VFR. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
And it really is some bike. It it actually took my breath away, that bike. I've still to launch my video. Lockwood's done his.
Yeah.
Uh,
Obviously, a lot would told you about Andy's bike as well.
yes.
Mate, honestly, you have no idea. You have no
I've
idea.
got-
It's like every preconception you had about a BMW 1250 GS, throw it out the window until you've
Aye.
ridden one. Honestly.
I've actually got a guy's bought is it a 19 or a 20 plate? 21 plate, I'm not sure. A 1250. What year
Yeah.
did that come out in? He's got a 1250 GS and he's already offered that to me as well to go and
Take a shot of it. Honestly,
take
just
a
for
shot.
the.
Give it a go.
Yeah.
Give it a go.
Honestly, please. Because
They absolutely are in my mind a Marmite bike. You either love it or you hate it. Yeah.
Yep.
Zed loved it. I wasn't impressed by it. So
Yep. The two of us stood off it, and the two of us looked at each other and went like, "What was that like?" And it was like everything. It was like the flickability. The weight wasn't there. It wasn't there at all. The power delivery was very, very lineal. It was standing up on it. The fact that you were carrying panniers, the size of it, you didn't feel as if you were on a big bike. You felt as if you were on quite a nimble middleweight bike, I would say. Going round roundabouts was not an issue. I actually, when I was going in, we were going back towards West Coast Harley at Hillington roundabout. Robert was in front of me and I was behind him. And when I tipped it in, you're thinking, this is a big bike, I'm going to have to tip this hard. I actually had to stand the bike up halfway around the corner because I tipped it too hard, and it just because it fell in that quickly.
You don't need to hustle it.
No, you don't. Obviously, because it's got big bars as well, so like over exaggerates any movement that you make anyway. But no, you don't have to. You don't have to manhandle the bike about. But that's the joy of it. That's the thing about bikes as well. It's like I've had loads of preconceptions about a lot of bikes that when I've ridden them make me shut my face, and I love that. I think that's great.
I've went out a couple of times. Obviously, I've done the video where I was thinking, right, YouTube, I'll stop YouTube, and then I thought, well, I'll just sell the bike and take a season off or whatever. And then I've started going out more without the cameras. And one of the days I went out without the camera was the day I dropped the bike. And I'm like, I would have loved to get that on camera. Even though it was my bike and all the rest of it, I just laid the bike down, so there's no damage or nothing. There was a circumstance. I was in a bad position. I was comfortable with the group I was out with, but at the same time, I got myself in a bad position sitting directly behind somebody when I shouldn't have been. They've pulled away, they've stalled it, hit the brake. I'm already looking right at the roundabout, and I'm going. Know what I mean? So I had two options: run into the back of him, force the front brake, which I knew would put the bike down, and then thought, well, if I hit the front brake, I'm going to put the bike down, I'm going to lie it down. I kept my hand on the left-hand side with the clutch, laid the bike down, and then popped the clutch out so it didn't spin round or do anything weird or anything like that. And it was perfectly fine. And the good thing is that since I passed my full bike test, it was always been a worry, when you drop your bike and all the rest of it. Now I've done it, it's not that bad.
No.
I'll tell you what, there are two types of bikers. There are two types of bikers: those that have dropped a bike and those that are going to.
Well, Mark, I've
got mine and broke my arm, so
I'd planned to go out with Graham's. Graham's and I had planned a run. It was for a Sunday, and I was up at Graham's on the Friday night. We'd went out for a wee sort of mini run, and we were looking at going out for the run the Sunday. And then the way back from Graham's, it was when he stayed at the other side of Kilmarnock. So I'm heading over towards the car park in the Sky. But instead of heading along that road, I took the cut off towards Howwood. And I went into what's classed as farmland. And a farmer had come out of a field with his silage tap open, dropped it on the road and went back into another field, and I hit that. So I dropped the bike on its side. Now, I dropped that on the Friday. I smashed my whole side up. My side was absolutely knackered. I went to the hospital and everything. And I let Graham. I was like, "Hey, Graham's, this is my bike. My bike's down." Mark, you've seen? I've showed you the pictures, haven't I? I've showed you the pictures of the bike.
Yep.
And Graham's is like, "No, right, this isn't happening." It's like, I've booked the time off. It's like, no, it's fine, it's fine. And we went out for the ride on the Sunday, and you know how Graham's rides. And like, I sat behind Graham's quite comfortably and solely for that whole ride, but I needed it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, because a lot of times when you drop a bike, it's not your fault. A lot of people don't understand that. They don't actually analyze what happened, why it happened, and what you could have done to prevent it. It's kind of a sort of process. It's certainly a process I went through.
Yeah.
I thought to myself, right, what could I have done different? And I thought to myself, you know what? No matter what speed I approached that road surface, there's nothing I could have done, because by the time my tyres hit the manure on the road, the bike was compromised right there and then. I was lucky to get round the first corner. The second corner, I decided not even to tip the bike in. I decided to actually try and go onto the grass verge to slow the bike down, and it was only then that the front end dug in, and that's what took me in. Graham's was like, "I'll go up to farmer's door, I'll chap his door, I'll get your money back." You know, that's like, no, just leave it as what it is. But luckily, Graham's is a good painter.
I was in a bad position, because you've been out with me. I stagger. I never sit behind somebody. I wouldn't even contemplate even riding any kind of road where I'm parallel or I'm right behind somebody. No, I'm a pretty conscious person when it comes to group riding. I've had some nightmares that have been nothing to do with me, but people I've went to overtake, and then somebody's went to overtake me while I'm overtaking. So I've got issues with stuff like that with the person that does it. But I put myself in a bad position through comfort. We were having a good day. We were 4 hours in, because we went down to Dumfries, went to Gretna, and then we jumped on the old 74, and then we done Moffat, and then so I was having a good day. So it was a McDonald's at Dumfries. I was comfortable, and I just let my guard down. And when I let my guard down, that's when it decided to happen. So and later on in that ride, one of the other riders, we were pulling in, and the curb was like that, but he pulled in quite tight. He put his kickstand down, and it just slid down, and he sat his bike down as well. And I'm like, no, what's the chances of two of you sitting a bike down in the same ride?
Mark, you remember when we did the Duke's Pass? Before we went on the Duke's Pass, I had to catch my bike, and then you and Robert come over to help me. And that, it's like, as far as I put the bike down on its side stand, and then the bike moved. It's like it was sitting down. I always sit my foot beside the side stand, and I lean the bike in. I always deliberately dig it in. That's just something I've always done. And I was swinging my leg over that bike as that bike started to fall towards me. I cannot, for the life of me, other than the fact that something in the road compromised that caused that bike to move when it did. And it was only the fact of my knee slider almost tearing off, and the fact that you guys came and lifted that bike up, and you're like, what the hell? What's going on? And it's wee things like that.
That's it. It's down to circumstance, isn't it? For me, I was in too comfortable a situation. I let my guard down. So
I was on a ride with Graham's, or probably it was after we did the Duke's Pass. It was the very next ride, and I was talking about spacing, and because like Graham, we were riding into Tyndrum, and I was sitting on the left hand side, and Graham's was sitting on the right, and I was talking about the reason why I'm sitting where I'm sitting. And I actually mentioned yourself, and I actually mentioned Robert as well. And the reason I mentioned the both of you is that along with Graham's, along with R6 Monkey, with Duncan and yourself and Robert, that's the guys that I'm comfortable riding with, because we all understand that giving each other the space and the distance and the respect to have your own ride and know where each other's going to be at any given time. If I'm on the right hand side, Graham's is on the left, vice versa with you. If you're on the left, I'm on the right, and vice versa. You can predict how people ride. And sometimes when you go on a bigger group ride and you've maybe not ridden with a few people, there is an incident that I could mention, that people go off motorways and into Stony, but we're not going to get down that road. But you understand where I'm coming from with that. It's good, and it's safe to know that you can ride with people and you know how they're going to react if you're doing a certain thing, and vice versa.
I mean, I know exactly what you're talking about. I mean, Andy and Crouchy, you've met them both. Crouchy's on the Harley.
Yeah.
I've ridden with them a lot. And when we're riding together, it's like you're reading each other's minds, because you know what one's going to do when the other one's going to do it. And those, and there's a couple of others. Kev West is another one. I ride with them, and you will take that extra little bit of chance, because you know where they're going to be without even looking where they're going to be.
Yeah.
Simon, and you do it.
Simon, see when Lockwood and I were, and we were up in the cafe at Harley, West Coast Harley in Glasgow, watching Simon, Crouchy and Darren coming in, and just the way that Andy and that and Crouchy ride their bikes, you can tell. You can tell right away the attitude of the bikes, the position, and everything. You're like that, right? These guys know what they're doing. These guys,
you're all doing it without thinking about it, and I love going out and ride with them guys, because you can have some fun. You can be a little bit silly, or you can make that minor little error in judgment, and we've all done it. All of us have done it, and you know you'll get away with it because of the guys that are around you.
Yeah.
And that's something that's rare to get amongst you, where you all gel and you do the same.
Yeah.
We all ride very, very similarly. And I have done rides where I've been leading, and I've had a lot of bikers with me, like 18 and things like that. And I like to speak to all the guys individually and say, look, ride your own ride, give each other space.
Yeah.
If I'm doing corner man system, be aware, and this is how it's going to work. And it's not a briefing, but I will basically talk to people, and I'll say at the end of the day, we want every single one of you to go home again.
100%.
I'm doing it.
See, that's
the main goal.
See, when you're doing a ride and you're possibly leading a ride, you should be having conversations about the rules and what you can do and what you can't do, because that's what's going to make the difference. When we done the Duke's Pass, at no time Zed was behind me, I was in the middle, Lockwood was in front. At no time did I overtake Lockwood. There was no time that Zed overtaken me without some sort of indication to do it.
Yeah.
And that's only 3 bikes. I know you can get away with stuff and all that with 3 bikes, but if you're leading a ride, Simon, 10 bikes or whatever, you've got every right to say to everybody, ride your own ride, but see at the same time, because I've been in that situation that Stuart's just spoke about, where it was fucking chaos.
I mean, when I've done the big rides, I used to do the I haven't started them up this year. I call it the salad dodgers ride. Salad dodgers. Well, basically, we're going for a big fry-up. And a mate of mine, Ian, always turns up, and he's got this dirty, great big caravan, we call it, of an Indian. And I always say to him, would you mind going at the back? This is the route. And he says, yeah, I'll go at the back. I say, right, everybody, that's your tail gunner. That's your tail end, Charlie.
Yeah.
If I end up using corner man, because there is that many of us, and if you get any more than 4 or 5 bikes, you're going to get split up. I'm going to start dropping somebody at a corner, and I explain the corner man system for those that don't know. And I said, if you're not happy doing the corner man and you end up behind me, pull to the left and wave the guy behind you in front.
Yeah.
And he'll do the next corner, and you can drop back, and and the guys that that do the corner man, they love it because they can do a bit of overtaking or whatever and do a bit, you know. Everybody can ride their own ride, and don't worry about getting left behind because he's the last man. And if I run out of bikes behind me, I will slow right down until someone comes up behind me because that's what you do.
That's what you do. No, that's perfect. That's the way it should be done.
It did happen once. I had 12, was it 12 or 15? I can't remember. But I remember it was a lot of bikes and I was using corner man system. And as I dropped the last guy at a junction, it was Kev West, funny enough, behind me. I pulled up and pulled over. He pulled up behind me and said, just go, I'll wait. I went, right, okay. I went, I tore off down the road. I got about 500 down the road and I'm looking in the mirror and I'm thinking, fucking hell, there's no one. I can't see anybody at all. So I did slow right down until I got to near the next junction. And then I saw about 8 headlights all come over the hill at once. They got caught at a junction. It's like, okay, we can carry on now then. But it was great because nobody actually stopped other than marking the corner. And you're making progress all the time. And that was all the way from Leighton Buzzard to the other side of Oxford. It was a great day, great ride. And everybody went home. I was ever so pleased. You know, it's good. But that's what we do. But I've also done the rides at the Ace Cafe, the toy run at the Ace Cafe, where you've got 180 bikers. Yeah. And I'm just a rider in that 180 bikers. And I've done it a few times with a wife. And I've said to her, I'm actually scared to be sat in this pack of bikers because you've got your usual idiots. You've got a lot of people in high spirit because it's Christmas. Yeah. And then we go into hospitals and we're dropping toys off and they're all doing this and that. And I said, look, that was probably one of the most stressful rides I've ever done.
Yeah. There is certain incidents. Mark, you look at the camping weekend.
Mm-hmm.
How relaxed was that ride out? Every single person that was on that ride out was in the same wavelength, same wavelength of rider. Now it was various sizes of bikes. It wasn't just all big bikes because John Diehard was who's in the side chat. John was there, and John, well done, buddy, for your recent success and getting your big boys pants.
Well done, Stu. I think we should take a couple of minutes to say well done, John. That is fantastic news.
Yeah.
Oh,
can't wait to see him on the bike he's bought about 6 months ago or whenever.
Definitely. It's going to have to wipe the dust off it. It's going to have to wipe the dust off it to ride it. But fantastic. And John, like I said, when you commented on my video, it's you're no more the rider that I thought you were in the first place, mate. From you being out on that ride that weekend, that camping weekend, I knew the rider you were, mate. The way you kept up with everybody, you never held anyone back. You were more than capable rider. You just didn't have the license to prove it, and now you do. So
I've been watching his stuff on his little 125 there, and I'm watching his riding, his position, because something I do automatically.
Yeah.
I watch his riding, his position. I thought, this man needs a full license. He does, because he's got it. It's there.
And now he's got
it. He's big boy license.
Brilliant. Big boy pants on. Wee trainer pants on.
Where is it? This is just for John. There you go.
Well done, mate. Well deserved.
Not only has he got a big boy license, he's still got the coolest name on YouTube ever.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Absolutely.
And that can't be taken away from him. Mr. Diehard McLean.
Definitely.
I was going to say, he's got his training wheels off now then.
He's got his training wheels off now then. He's
left the training wheels at the Nakatomi Plaza.
Yeah.
Well, he's got the coolest name on YouTube ever, as long as that man never gets done for paedophilia or anything.
It's quit, hasn't he, old Bruce Willis?
I know. I feel sorry for Jimmy Savile Motovlogs. He was a good channel.
Jimmy the Savile Motovlogs, yeah.
Jimmy Savile
that channel down bloody quick, didn't he?
But then
we can
see when you look at it, most of his motovloggers were around schools. We should have sussed it. We can laugh, but we shouldn't. But
you've been coping with his feet then, Simon?
I'm fucking dying, mate. I am absolutely
Yeah.
fucking dying. I'll tell you what, it's only a 30-mile journey to and from work. It takes me about 40 minutes. Even, I mean, today and a couple of days this week, even moving along the motorway when I can at sort of 70 mile an hour, I'm still thinking, Jesus, I'm off.
Yeah.
The bike is hitting 3 bars on the temperature gauge. The fan is on from about 200 yards leaving work until I get home. It's just not cooling. It's just you're sucking 30 odd degree temperature air straight through your radiator. It ain't going to cool down, is it?
A couple of days
I wish my wife would.
Been a couple of days I've sort of like thought, oh, looks nice out there. Walked outside and thought, sod that. Yeah. Well, no way am I getting on my gear on and going out on bloody bike in that weather.
Yeah. I know.
There you go, John. Welcome to the Smug Club. You passed your test, yeah. But I mean, it's something. I mean, I've said it a couple of times on the video about keeping hydrated. I got home one night. I think it was last week or the week before. One of the live streams I did where it was really warm. I got home and I'd bought 4 bottles of isotonic Lucozade to try and rehydrate myself, and I'd drunk them one after the other. I just one. Today I've got home. I've had 6 pints of water. 6 pints of water with ice in it to cool me down, and I haven't gone through a pee yet. So I know I'm not hydrated, you know, and that's just 2 journeys. And while I'm at work, I'm in an air-conned office, so it ain't too bad. But
that's good. No, he's like I say, I've walked outside and thought I'll go on a bike, and then thought no.
Reb says he's going to go out Sunday, and I'll tell you what, I'm not going out this weekend.
I'm not.
I'm not. I've got to ride to work Monday when it's 37 degrees. I'm actually thinking about taking the car. It'll take me an hour and a half to get to work. But I'm thinking about taking the car because it's got aircon in it, and it's just going to be too damn hot. It really is.
Yeah, I was going to say because you've got the same warning as us. We're red warning now. We've gone up from amber to red because of the heat.
I always think that see when it gets that hot, I always think just ride naked from the waist down.
Spanish safety gear, flip flops and shorts. Yeah,
always does it for me.
Mankini.
Always does it for me. Naked from the waist
you
down.
You've got to cover your dangly bits, otherwise you get done for exposure. So yeah,
and sling it over the shoulder. They just.
I tried that once. It didn't get above my belly button. And that was fully excited, shall we say?
My
wife says that's why I love looking after me koi fish so much, because I'm hung like one. So.
I've had fun this week anyway. I've had my first counselling session.
Oh, excellent. Well done.
So that one's good. I've been put forward to fitness magpies because my fitness is down the pan. I need to get fit again. So I need to lose some weight. I won't tell you what I've gone up to from what it was. So, but that was all good. And they finally managed to get some blood out of me on bloody Thursday.
Excellent.
Good.
Well, I went on Wednesday for a blood test at the doctor's. 3 different nurses could not get any blood out of me. So I ended up going back on the Thursday to see like the specialist at the doctor's. He tried once in my arm, couldn't get any blood out of me, and then eventually ended up getting it out the back of my hand. Sorry, I felt like a bloody. Well, as I said to my daughter, I've had more pricks than a prostitute this week, I tell you.
But that's enough about your hobbies, MT.
I've got bloody. I look like a junkie on my right arm, and one on my left. Fucking needle marks.
I hate it when I go to give blood or they try to cannulate me for anything. When I fell downstairs and I broke 5 ribs and punched my lung and that, they turn up and they go, "Oh, we're going to need a cannulator. Oh, you've got really nice veins. Let me just fucking put this big cannula in." I'm like, fuck off, use the little one.
Yeah. Well, that's what they ended up doing, was using the butterfly needle, the small one in my hand. Because apparently I've got deep veins and they go into hiding when they try and get blood out of me.
Yeah.
And I tell you, I've got on my left arm, up on the upper muscle, I've got a pinprick there where they tried getting blood out of me. On my right elbow, I've got 3 bloody marks there. where they tried getting blood out of me, and then one in the back of my hand on my right hand, which is eventually where they managed to find the bloody, vein to get some blood out of me. And they ended up using a butterfly needle, as they call it. Great fun.
But you got your first counselling session out of the way, so that's good.
Yeah, I've got some very good information off of her as well about the vicious cycle of depression and all that lot.
Yeah,
That's
and I've
positive.
got to do
mate.
and I've got to do her what they call a thought diary
Okay.
sort of thing
Yeah.
of what's activated it, how I felt at the time, and and like afterwards sort of thing. So
Yeah.
So what they're trying to do there is find your trigger points.
yes, that's what she said.
See,
Yeah.
like to make you understand, Matt, it's like I had severe stress through work,
Yeah.
which created anxiety, which then subsequently creates depression. And what I find my trigger point is if I'm in a sustained environment of stress, it triggers depression, but it triggers it at there's probably about a 2-week gap between the actual stress incident and the depression.
Yeah, depression kicking in. Yeah.
Yeah, so I can tolerate the stress at the time that I'm actually having it, and that can be actually standing in front of 200-300 people and speaking.
Yeah.
Without a script, without and delivering all the information I need to deliver at any specific time, but the reaction comes 2 weeks later, and that's what was detected when I did the very thing that you've done yourself.
Yeah.
It's like I cannot tolerate severe or elongated periods of stress. Short bursts of stress is fine, but any lengthy sort of burst of stress I cannot tolerate, which is basically why I work in the job that I've got just now.
Yeah.
I do not put myself in the position.
One thing she's told me to do is, with my anxiety about going out on the bike, is to watch one of my previous videos I've made prior to going out, and how I feel when I get, and remember how I feel when I get back on it, to get me out of that anxiety stage. Because if I don't know where I'm going,
because what she's doing is she's increasing your views at the same time. So
but what she's told me, and because she was chatting to me about what I like doing, and like with the editing as well, to get it more into the video editing. But what was it? One thing she did say was, because I was chatting to her about the bike and how much I love the bike, but the problem is at the moment I'm one of these people. I'm at the thing where if I don't know where I'm going and I don't know how I'm going to be, my anxiety really plays up.
Yeah,
I like to know where I'm going and how long I'm going to be, and then I can tolerate it for a bit, and then sort of like have to come home. So as she said, she's actually encouraged me to watch, some of my videos, and
that's good.
Just to jog me how I feel, basically.
But would it, Matt, just like thinking out the box, would it be worthwhile planning a route that?
Yeah, she said that.
If you could tolerate maybe riding for 30 minutes, that you left the house, did the journey, and ended up back at the house.
Oh, yeah, that's what she said. He's actually
so you're eliminating the fact of actually having to interact with people.
Yeah.
In the mean, and that's a starting point. That's just a starting point.
That's what she's actually told me to do. Is actually plan a route and plan what I'm going to talk about on the route for the vlogs, on the bike.
Yeah.
And sort of then go and do it, and then end up back at home, sort of thing. Because it would distract my brain basically as I'm riding along.
Yeah. What she's basically telling you to do is pat your head and rub your tummy at the same time.
Yeah. It's just sort of like switch my brain cell off, sort of thing.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. It's like it calms the mind.
Yeah,
fully appreciate that.
Once this weather cool down a little bit, I'll be out, because I really want to go out now, but it's too frigging hot. for me.
That's brilliant from Die Hard. That's that
Yeah, it is
comment.
brilliant from Dial, isn't it? Yeah, it's well worth the 1,200 quid.
Listen,
Now he's passed his test, you're going to see no videos from him at all. Yeah.
No, but see the thing about it is like the guy who I bought my ZX9R from, John sells product to. Danny works for the council. John sells chemicals to Danny. That's who
I thought you was
bought
going
the
to say
ZX.
butt plugs then. But
No. That's who I bought. That's who I bought the ZX9R. So John knows. John actually knew about the ZX9R before I knew it was up for sale. So I know the whole history of the whole. I'm learning to.
Does
to
John
ride
own
this
an
bike.
RV? Does John own an RV?
No, he's got no. He had
got a
he had the 125. He had the wee quad as well. That quad that was in the garage in his workplace that frightened the
I
life
just
out of
wondered
him.
because you said he got chemicals. I just wondered if he owned an RV.
No.
It's all right. Breaking Bad reference there.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Get it?
Yeah.
Cracking up the blue crystals.
Yeah.
hey,
And saying that,
be-
if he's taking that long to pass his mod 2, he might be smoking them.
He might be doing it. You know, pay for
To
it.
be fair to him, by the way, see if you run into him in Largs, you probably think he has got an RV because he doesn't shut up the whole time.
Listen,
I'll tell you what it was. It's taken him that long to pass his bike test. He's renewed his license twice.
he's taking that long. He works for the DVLA.
I'm
No.
just
Got
sitting here
shares.
thinking, I'm
It's
thinking
nothing but-
how I felt when I passed, and he must
I
be
know.
jumping up and down. He must be
I
jumping.
reckon John's sitting at his computer naked right this minute.
As long as the hands are on the desk, that's fine.
No, his hands are on his license.
Or worse, he's sitting on the bike naked right now.
Definitely.
Yeah.
How many people? Yeah. This will get you. How many people had to pass the motorcycle test twice?
Oh no, I haven't. I only. I failed
Right,
it the first time.
I
passed
passed
it.
my test the first time in about 1987. I passed my first big boy bike license
Right.
because I was on the Vespas and the scooters, and I did a really easy test. Then when I worked for the ambulance service and I moved house about 8 times in 2 years, I had to keep sending my license off to get the address changed because you've got to have your current address and they check it every fucking month and all the rest of it. And at that same time, the DVLA changed all the license categories.
Okay.
So license A used to be car. So when they changed all the categories over, about 4,500 people lost certain entitlements. But I didn't realise I'd lost motorcycle until I think it was 8 years ago. I decided I'm going to get a motorbike and go backwards and forwards to work. And I walked into a dealership and you got a license? Yeah. And look at the bike and everything else. And he said, "Can I see your license?" Well, there you go. And he turned it over and he went, "You can't ride a motorbike." I went, "What are you talking about?" I passed my test in 1987. He said, "Not what it says here." I went back to the DVLA and they were really good. They said, "If you can provide us with your test certificate, we will put the license category A, full motorbike on your license." I passed my test in 1987.
Aye.
And she went, "Oh, that's before I was born." I was like, "Ta-da."
Yeah. If you can provide the actual person who certificated you and their grandparents and their great grandparents, we will give. Right. So just another big.
So
tax
8 years
scam,
ago, I passed my motorcycle test for the second time. And it was really weird because I had to go and do a CBT. I had to go do a mod 1 and mod 2. And once I passed my mod 2, the examiner, who was the head of the school at the time, he actually said to me, "Would you like to come work for us?" Because he just reckoned it was natural, I could do it. So yeah, had I bought a bike privately, I would have been riding it and everything without a license.
2009, I passed my test, and when I sat the mod 1, a lot of the Harley riders, which were a test school, there was an Ayrshire. I can't remember the name. What's the one down in Ayrshire as well, Mark?
Is it
The riders.
Pegasus?
Aye, it might well have been. And then there was ours as well. Like we were ride on.
You get ride on. Aye.
Aye, and like we were all at the test centre, and nobody was passing. See, we all were doing our mod 1, and like all the instructors were standing just shaking their heads like it's like you could hear all the mumbling. Like I went away. It's I get told that I skidded on my swerve test. I apparently skidded, and I'm like, I'm sure I would have felt that. No, you definitely skidded. You skidded. You skidded there. No, just pull in. Oh, it's like, okay. So like, and my instructor's like, what was that for? It's like, I skidded. He's like, you what? And like, as I say, all the instructors went away in a corner, and they're like, right, okay, it's one of those days. It was like basically as if the test centre just decided that today was a no day.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was standing watching people after I had failed. I'm standing there watching. What did you fail for? Hesitation. What? You hesitated on what? Doing my U-turn. So you never even stopped. You did your checks. I'm watching because obviously we're doing that every single time we're doing like the direct access. It's like, where did you hesitate? No, he said that when I was coming just before the turn, he said that I said
That's right, it went all green.
It's like just before the turn, I hesitated, and it's like, what's going on? It's like I honestly think sometimes that's the way of, if they look at their calendar and they decide we're a wee bit empty next month, we might as well fill this up.
Yeah.
Even when
they become a bit more stricter when they've got less on the books than if they've got loads on the books. They'll be not lax, but they'll
it's like the percentile drops slightly to allow the throughput.
My mod 1, I've done my mod 1 with three other people that were singing me. So we got to the test centre. The guy I was training me was about to retire. So we were the last group. There was about 70 or so. This particular day, there's three or 4 years. Was it 4? I'm trying to think. So we go for mod 1. So each person does their mod 1. He's like, you're all right. It's because I'm retiring. Everybody will pass. And I'm like, that doesn't sound right. But anyway. Oh, cheers, John.
Cheers, John. All the best, pal. Safe riding, buddy.
And we started test, and 2 failed. And then I had the same on the mod 2 when we all went out, and they're like, this is my last group of people. Everybody's going to pass. And 2 failed on that as well. And I'm like, where's this come from that you're going to pass because the instructor's retiring or whatever? But it turned out that's the way it is. So
yeah.
I remember my mod 2. The guy I rode up there with, there was 2 of us on the day, and the examiner said to me, "Oh, this bloke we got examining us, he's a real ball breaker. He really is strict." And I was second, so I'm like, "Oh, fucking great!" And so I sat there fucking for 45 minutes, 50 minutes, waiting for them to come back. And when they come back, the examiner actually tore shit out of the other student. He really did. And I'm like, fucking hell, and it does nothing for your nerves, does it? You're like, Jesus Christ, he's really tore him off one. And I went out with him, and I was nervous as shit to start the ride. And I was doing everything he said, and then I did the solo ride. And we came around, and he was okay. Do this bit, do this roundabout. And we got to one roundabout, and he said straight on. As I got onto the roundabout it was one of them really short roundabouts approaches where it suddenly breaks off into 2 lanes.
Yeah.
And there was a car sitting there. I went to the right-hand lane, and as that car moved, I looked down, and it was a right-hand turn only lane for the roundabout. I was like, "Oh shit!" So I deliberately looked right over my left shoulder to make sure there was nothing there. As I approached onto the roundabout, different looks, changed lanes, and went round. We got all the way back. I thought he's going to bollock me for that. That was a dangerous manoeuvre or something, or that's a major, and I failed. We got back. He got off the bike and he sat down, and the examiner was in there with me. He said, "Well, you made one mistake." He said, "You know, you got in the wrong lane in the roundabout, but I was really impressed how you safely got into the right lane.
You
So
connected.
you're gonna pass with no minors." I went,
That's
"Wow."
fair enough. That's fair enough.
For
Matt?
anybody in your area that kind of go and Google Whitlett's roundabout, because the instructors and the test examiners love to take you on this roundabout, right? There's no
Aye.
sense to this roundabout. There isn't a right way or a wrong way. It's just
Aye.
like every man for themselves.
Go for it. Free for
Aye.
all.
They take you round it twice, maybe
Yeah.
3 times in your test, and you're really open to anybody doing anything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like
It's mental.
see where I am, just outside Glasgow Airport. Our test centre is right next to basically like a reclamation yard for the council. So you've got basically dumper trucks and God knows what coming in and out. So if you're doing a test during it's at Shield Hall in Glasgow, basically. If if you're doing a test and it's raining, you know that when you leave the test centre and you turn left, there's diesel on the road. You go to a roundabout, there's diesel on the road. No matter where you go for the next 100 yards, there's diesel on the road. You can smell it. It's so strong. It's like, right, okay, only the council could decide that they're going to put a motorbike test centre next to somewhere that has lorries that are overfilling their fuel tanks and dropping diesel onto the road. It's crazy.
Aye.
Absolutely crazy. So when I did my lessons, we had a Stevie, who was my instructor, come straight out of the Met, came up straight out of the Met, retired police officer, very clear, very concise on the microphone. Right, Stuart, take the next on the left. Okay, Stuart, you're coming up to a bus. Make sure it's safe to pass. Let the bus know you're passing. Press your horn. Good, well done, blah, 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 so on and so forth. This was the guy who took me out on my test. That's all I heard. And I'm patting my helmet like that. I didn't hear him. I'm like, what's going on? It's like I couldn't understand a word the guy was saying. It's like and then so I failed the first time, and I was like saying to Stevie, who's my instructor, I couldn't even hear a bloody word that guy was saying. It was like all muffled and all mumbled. And he's like, right. So what he's going to do, he actually told me the route that I took. He's like, he's going to take you through the get to Shield Hall roundabout. He'll take you onto Clyde Tunnel. You go under the Clyde Tunnel. You come off at Scotstoun. You get to Scotstoun and the first traffic lights. You'll go up the hill. You'll come back round, back through the Clyde Tunnel. You go back to the test centre. And I'm like, right, now that I know that, why didn't you tell me that the first time? But that was by the by. So the second time, because you've got to wait the 2 weeks. So I'm like that, right? I'm ready for you, you bugger. It's like Mr. Mumbler. So like get to the test centre and it's like I'm not all right, Mumbler, right? That's me, mate. It's me again. Right, it's like, so tell me all about the bike. Where do you check your oil? Down there. See that wee window right down there. Blah, blah,
Show
blah.
me, tell
Brakes,
me. Aye.
all that carry on. So right, okay, so we head off. He's taking me exactly the same journey, and I'm like, all right, I know exactly where you're taking me. So we're heading towards the Clyde Tunnel, and the Clyde Tunnel's backed up. there's traffic all the way around, right the way by Lidl's, all the way around, getting into Clyde Tunnel, and all I heard was, take the next on the left. He's like panicked, and I'm like, okay, that's fine, mister. He's like, yeah, they're round about, take the third on the right, and I'm like, cool, I know exactly where he's taking me, so I took the third on the right. At the first possible incident, pull into the left-hand side, I'm like, that's cool, that's fine, I'll just do that. Pulled in. When it's safe to do so, pull away, and I pulled away, and he's like, when it's safe to do so, pull in. I was still on the same bloody road. He just made me pull in and pull out again and pull in. I'm like, all right, okay, I'll do that. And he's like, the next roundabout, take a left. I'm like, okay, he's taking me back across the Clydeside Expressway. That's exactly what he did. He took me back to the test centre, 10 minutes. I'm pleased to tell you, Mr. Anderson, you've passed your test. What bike are you getting? He starts all this chat, and I'm like, where was the chat before? So what are you all about, Mr. Mumbler? It's funny. It's funny how it goes.
It is.
I'm so pleased for John, though. If there's anyone that deserves to pass their test, it's that guy. It really is. Because, honestly, it's cost him £1,200 and 3 clutch levers. John will appreciate that.
I'm sure there's a story behind that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's on one of the videos I watched that. I saw that, yeah.
No.
Clutch levers.
I couldn't help it, Matt. Sorry.
3 clutch levers.
Mark, what bike you been looking at?
XSR 900, MT09 SP, MT10, MT10 SP.
What did you think of the display on the MT09?
It's small. Yes,
yeah, because a friend of mine's got this year's model. I had to fit a new screen on it, a bit of a longer screen, so it covered the display a bit more, because he says in the sunlight you can hardly see it.
Yeah.
So I ended up putting a slightly bigger screen on it, so it just came more over the display, so we could see it better.
The screen's small. It's functional enough. You can see everything on it. For what it is, but it is small. Yep. No, definitely.
Yeah, he said when he got.
What? On you go, mate.
Oh, sorry. He said when you got a sort of sunlight on it, he could hardly see the display. So that's why I got that screen. So.
Yep.
I'd be wary of that.
Did you fit a bigger screen, or did you just fit a cover?
It was a bigger screen, so it's just to hold on with 4 bolts on the front, the one what comes with it. Just take that off, put a couple of brackets in, and then put the bigger screen on, so it comes slightly up over the display for him.
You
so
can
give
get
it a bit more shade.
You can get anti-glare, anti-sun, anti-whatever they want to call it for the screens to help with that. But no, you're right. It's small, but small. It's functional. You can see.
Yeah, but he was just saying, on sunny days, he was struggling to see it because of the angle it's at and everything. And like I say, he got an aftermarket screen. I fitted it for him because he ain't got a clue, and he's had no problem with it since. So.
Yeah. My honest opinion of the MT09 was that the front end was very exposed. Talking about the radiator, the front and the forks. I just didn't think there was enough protection. I don't think they had put enough on that for a brand new bike. For a brand new bike, I thought that's going to get hit. That's going to get hit. That's damage. There's damage possibilities there.
Tell you what, the other thing I didn't like on it, Stu, was how the indicators are rolled on the front, because he didn't realise both of his had come loose.
That's
they're not bolted in.
That's a known problem. No, that's a known problem.
So that's basically down to the fact that they've possibly not either not put thread lock on it, or
no, there's no bolts on it.
Enough.
They're held in by like a rubber grommet.
Is that right?
With like a plastic clip on it.
So it vibrates out its whole own hole.
Yeah. There's no bolts on it. It's got like got like a stupid little plastic clip on it, and you pull the
Yeah.
grommet through, so it sort of like sits in the steering, and then you push the clip onto it, and
Yeah.
it hit
So-
both of his on either side of the bike. They'd come loose and was just dangling.
Yeah, it's just a
Yeah.
vibration thing, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
it's like it's one of those design modifications that it's like they'll retrofit. You'll probably call you back at some point and say we've
Point to
got a
sort it out. Yeah,
solution.
because to say is
We've got a
this year's
solution to it.
model. You know, it's this year's model because it's got recalled because of the ECU problem and that. So,
The thing about it is, Matt, it's like what you have to understand is like when any bike manufacturer designs a bike and they maybe advertise that bike for sale, once the accountants get a hold of it, it becomes a different bike. It becomes a worse bike when an accountant gets a hold of it. But the accountant gets a hold of it so as you and I can afford it.
yeah,
And that's
most
the
bikes
difference.
I've seen and worked on, you know, with brothers and whatever, they've been bolted on. You know, the indicator stalks is a nut and bolt job. You know,
It's
not
like,
a frigging.
listen, mate, I've got the ZZR 1400 and I'm still replacing bolts that are like starting to degrade and starting to rot. It's like every single bike that you could possibly buy has some compromise somewhere down the
Wear
line.
on it, yeah.
And that's
At the end of the day, a new bike launch, the people that buy the bikes first are the testers, and you've still got a year of
absolutely, they are.
recalls and
It's like
everything else.
What is it they say about the gamers? Is it beta testers?
Yeah,
beta.
That's basically what they are. That's basically what somebody with a new bike is. You're beta testing it. It's like whether it's the engine or this gearbox.
Sometimes you're better off
from
getting a Gen 2 than a Gen 1, aren't you? Because the Gen 2's had all them kinks worked out of it. So.
Well, I don't know. It's like the Gen 1 ZZR 1400 is better than the Gen 2. When you start getting into electronics and that becomes a different issue. No, I'm only winding. That's just a.
That's actually quite good. So, because it's like the MR2 Mark 1 was better than the MR2 Mark 2, you know. God.
I've got a question for you, Zo.
Right.
I'm going to go to Big Stew first. And put that as your description. Do we need bikes with all this stuff?
Well, I actually.
I don't think we do.
I actually started
apart from ABS, mate.
I actually started following the Goblin Biker. I think that's his name. I might have actually
Good name.
I might have actually just recommended you to a porn channel. I cannot promise you that I haven't. So I'm
sorry, that was the Goblin, but I'm just writing it down.
But his argument was the Concourse or the ZZR 1400 or the H2 SE the best bike. Now his review, and I'm not going to sit here and debate whatever. Simon, I love your bike. I think your bike's fantastic. There's so many different aspects of that bike that I fully appreciate. One being the shaft drive, 100% behind that. But when it comes to out and out figures and so on and so forth, obviously like the ZZR kind of stretches its legs a wee bit. But one of the things that he said was the non-interference of electronics within the ZZR 1400 were more harmonic with the way people want to ride bikes, as opposed to, see, if I'm riding a bike, see if I twist a throttle, I want to know that if I've given it enough throttle, if the bike steps out, it's me that's done it. It's not because the traction control hasn't caught it in time. It's not. Do you understand that? ABS, I fully agree with. ABS will catch a bike well before any skilled rider, MotoGP rider or otherwise, will catch a bike. ABS will catch it before that. But when it comes to traction control and whatever, there's certain aspects, there's certain bike manufacturers that I think there's possibly just a wee bit too much interference. Some manufacturers, there's not as much
I'm going to chime in on that. Mine has got the option of traction control on or off. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. Right, okay. The 2017, I think it's the 2017 or 18 ZZR 1400 my friend's got. He's got different modes he can set it on. So he's got from 3 to 0. I would much rather have that, so I could set it on 0 and have nothing at all, or set it on 1 so it gives me more control. And then when it's wet and slippery and you're going to make that fuck up, you put it on 3.
Yeah.
Because that's what I did on my Versys.
Yeah.
So I have option of on or off. Well, I'll leave it on.
See the thing, Simon, like this November, I've actually paid my ZZR off. I've ridden it every year through the winter. Winter actually tunes my brain to actually, that's my traction control.
Yeah.
When I'm in, when I'm riding the bike in winter, when that's what it means you've got that progress.
Yeah.
I'm not saying for 1 minute that I'm better than traction control. Would not for 1 minute even start to go down that road. But I would hate to run out of talent, to turn around and rely on traction control and for it to fail me. That's my worry.
I will say on my bike, the traction control probably did save me once. And it was one of those nights where it was pissing down with rain. I was on my way home. I came off the roundabout onto the dual carriageway, and this fucking arsehole in an Audi came airing round the roundabout a lot quicker than me because he can. He's got 4 wheels.
Yeah.
And he's got his footprints this wide, mine's this wide.
Yeah.
He came airing round it, and as I went round the roundabout, I thought I'm going to give it a little bit more just to push it through to get out of his way. And as I did that, I went back the next day and I had a look, and there's some banding down the road where I was. And the back wheel obviously just hit that banding, and all the lights started flashing, and it slowed me down, and it probably saved me arse because had it not been there, I would have lost the back end and been laying down. Yeah,
I appreciate that.
I really get the advantages of it, but I'm also a person that likes to feel what's going on underneath the wheels, which is why I didn't like riding the 1250, the GSA 1250, because I felt if I just give it a fistful, all the electrics are that good, it will just go, no, you can only have this much.
Yeah,
and it will build it up gradually.
But then with the 1250, it kind of, you know, that way where it was never giving you any more than it thought you needed.
Yeah.
And it's kind of
sometimes you need to know where that limit is.
The limit is, and that's the point I was making. The fact that when I bought the ZZR, it was November, so like you can imagine what November's like in Scotland. It was the first time I'd ever had a 1400.
Isn't it?
Honestly, it was like, it's like you fart ice cubes. You fart ice cubes in November. But no, that was such a grounding. It really was, because like if any time that you were just slightly enthusiastic with the throttle, the back end wasn't stepping out, but you could feel it starting to squirrel underneath you. So that first winter kind of sort of lets you know where your limits are. And then obviously, like as the drier weather comes in and the bike's not reacting as much, you kind of you tune yourself in. It's like you can lay the power down harder, faster, but then when it does step out, you're like, you know what, I've actually handled worse than this.
I mean, the first time I rode that bike in the rain, it's the heaviest bike I've ever had, and I probably would have been quicker to get off and push it around corners because I was like tiptoeing. But then you start progressing, and once you've learned the bike, which takes you, if you're riding, I don't know, 400 miles a week, it's after a couple of weeks, you've got used to how the bike feels in everything. Yeah. So you start pushing it a little bit more, and you can feel that that little moment where the tires are saying enough.
Right.
You're okay, that feels like the limit. That's where I can go, and that's what I can do. And I did all that without the electronics interfering at all. I got to know the bike.
Yeah.
The electronics came on that one time coming off that round. They've come on a couple of times, the traction control particularly, when I've decided, you know what, I'm going to give it a fistful, or I'm going to beat this Tesla away from the fucking lights, and I've done it.
Yeah.
And you know, it's come up, what, and you're gone. You know,
Yeah.
you get that moment. So
The question that Mark asked is a very valid question, and like
absolutely,
the thing about it is, I would never ever think that I was like a MotoGP rider, British Superbike rider, or whatever. But you take, for example, a ZX10R with no traction control and a ZX10R with full traction control, ABS. That same rider will ride the bike with everything on it 2 seconds faster round a track, any track.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely.
So it's doing something. It's like, but what the feeling that the rider and bike relationship is different. I think that's the key for everyday riding. See if I wasn't getting the same feeling back from my bike as I was. It's like if I felt that there was a vagueness, like I was going round corners but wasn't fully understanding why it was happening, be it the traction control or ABS or whatever, I don't know whether I would I be comfortable. I don't know.
The problem you've got with this technology, right? Lean sensing ABS and lean sensing traction control and all the rest of it. As traction control, I'm a big fan of because I've seen the difference. Some just back brake, traction control, front brake, traction control, they can half the distance. So that's gonna make a major difference to you when you're in a situation where you need to use it, right? But see the rest of it, I think we're now going down a level where we're going to jump in our bikes and we're going to say, Tesla bike, take me to such and such, and
it's not going to be fucking electric. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
No,
it's going to take you somewhere, and you're just like, what the fuck?
I fully appreciate.
I like the way my bike feels. I like my
Right.
FZ1.
My
If I
bike,
take a corner too fast and
yeah.
it slides, it's going to slide. It scares the shit out of me. Blah blah blah. If I hit the throttle too much, the back wheel spins. It goes to the side and blah blah blah. The only thing I really miss, I think I miss because I've never had it, is ABS.
A quick shifter.
ABS is really, really good.
Up and down.
ABS is really, really good, and I can't honestly say I've ever had the ABS come on my current bike. I've used it on my last bike
That's
because
good. That's
when
a good
people
sign.
have pulled out on me, but I can't say I've honestly used it on this one. But also when it comes to the ABS, the GTR Gen 2's got two options for the braking system. One is a soft dual braking. So that's when you're carrying your pillion and you've got loads of luggage on and everything else. And the other one is it's a more less linked braking. So you can then, if you want to squat the rear down, you push the rear brake. You want to squat the front, you push the front brake, and it doesn't interfere with each other as much. And I like the idea of doing that because when I go out with a wife, I want a nice sedate ride, and when I go out on my own, I want to be a lunatic, but because that's what we are, tarmac terrorist or whatever. So I like that, but ABS, I would say, because I've had it on my last two big bikes, I would want it.
No,
I've not used it, and I do brake quite late into corners and things like that. And somebody commented on one of the rides. They said, "Fucking hell, you brake late for that corner." I went, "No, that's where I brake. That's what I do. That's how I do it."
we're all different. We all break at different points.
Yeah.
Some
He
break
was
in the
on
corner.
he was on a BMW 1000 RR thing, carbon edition, and he saw me going into a corner, and he happened to follow me at the time, and he went, "Oh, this is a fast corner because he ain't braked yet." And he went, "Oh fucking hell, he's braking." It's because I got a technique going into a corner, whereas obviously you left hand side, so you're all the way out to the right. As you dip into the corner, you give the rear brake a tap. That brings everything down. It puts everything low on the suspension. The bike
Mhm.
bites harder with the tyres. It flattens the tyres out. You've got good pressure in your tyres. It flattens them out. It gives you a bigger footprint. And as you reach the apex, you can pin the throttle or open the throttle up and power out the corner. So it's kind of like a slow in, fast out. But you
I'm a
arrive quickly and then do everything very, very quickly. And that's the way I ride when I'm out
I'm a
having fun.
I don't have ABS on my bike at the moment. Well,
Yeah.
I don't have ABS at the end of the day, but I'm a big fan of ABS, and that's for me. That's the only thing we need. The rest of it is going to be, I don't know. You can get into a corner faster, don't have unaware of it, and everything else saves you. And I think at some point it's not going to save you.
Traction
Yeah.
control on or off the bike isn't the end of the world.
No,
Isn't the end of the world.
no.
But ABS, I think, should be there.
Yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah.
I,
I would totally agree with that.
I agree with the ABS, but I'm only on a little 125, so I've not had experience of big bikes with traction control. But from a car point of view, I think
Get a double.
I used to have an old Opel Manta, which was rear wheel drive.
Oh, I
would have
love the Opel Manta. That's a
I
lovely
would
car.
have hated
Was it a
that as
Berlinetta?
traction.
Was that Matt? Was that a Berlinetta?
It was
Opel
a
Manta
coupe,
Bell-
so it hadn't got a boot, so it was the nice coupe one with a 2-litre engine
Yeah.
under the bonnet, and that was rear wheel drive, and that got it was body kitted, low profile, slow it down, and I would have hated that to have traction control on it.
Yeah.
I used to love kicking the arse end out on that, because
I don't
it
think
takes a lot of the feeling away. You know what I mean?
not
It takes,
anything with anything with a rear drivetrain should never have traction control
no,
because you
it
can
takes that
control the
feeling
rear
away.
end. You can control the rear end with the throttle.
Yeah,
It's like if you go on a go-kart track, what's the first thing you do when you're sliding round a corner? It's
oh
just
yeah.
on, off, on, off, on, off.
On, off.
And,
Oh, I
and
used to
you
have the
can
back end of
you
that sliding all over the place.
you can feather the throttle and step it out, and that's
Yeah,
you. Absolutely. And the thing,
it was,
the thing about
it's a
it
car
is
I'd love
like
to get again as well. That.
when we're talking about like say for example my bike 1400
Yeah,
cc is 204 kilograms to make you understand. When
yeah,
you're trying to decelerate now,
yeah,
not I am not for 1 minute saying I'm ever decelerating from this speed, but to make you understand, I have a 204 kilogram bike that could potentially decelerate from 186 miles an hour.
yeah.
Traction control would probably help you because that's a hell of a lot of weight to be
Wait to
slowing
stop.
down
Yeah,
very, very fast.
fast. Yeah,
In an
but I just think
emergency.
it takes the feeling out of it a bit. Yeah, I like the fact of because the car I've got at the minute's got bloody traction control on it. And the other year, I was trying to get up a bloody road near us. There's a bit of snow on it. And the traction control just kept coming on. It would not go up this bloody hill because of the snow. So I ended up stopping the car, turning the bloody traction control off on the car. So I got my own throttle control back. Not letting the stupid computer system go in. Oh, you're slipping, my front wheels are spinning. And it's like, no, just give me the bloody power. I want it.
I've got my car out there has got the a snow button, and the last time I drove it in the snow, I used the snow button, and it was fucking awful. So I turned it off and I drove it normally.
See, the thing about it is like the
electronics.
Electronics are only as good as the person who programs them.
Programmed it. I was going to say, I like the factor of having different stages of traction control.
Mhm.
You know, so you can
Yeah.
choose your own option. I don't like the factor of just on or off.
No,
know,
but see the on and off part isn't the
Mm.
problem, right? If you know anything about ABS on a car or a motorbike,
Yeah.
it relies on a ring.
Yeah,
And
the sensor ring.
The ring
Yeah.
has holes on it, and it's got
Yeah.
spaces, so the sensor either picks up on or off. So it's a plus
Yeah.
or minus. It's a binary code that
Cheers, Ollie.
gives out. So it's
Yeah.
either on or off. So if you
Mm.
lock up a wheel and it either sees a 0 or a 1, then
Yeah.
it interacts.
Yeah.
Now you are then at the mercy of the person who programmed that.
System, yeah.
So like if they have programmed a sympathetic program that maybe is progressive, it doesn't just give you you don't know. You don't know who's programmed it and how it's been programmed.
Well, that's what I mean.
Most
It depends on
I
the
would
manufacturer,
like
doesn't
to
it?
say, for example, Yamaha, Honda, Ducati. I would
Mm.
like to think that the algorithms that they use for their traction control are all track based. That's what I would love to think.
Yeah.
Whether they could confirm or deny that, I
mean,
don't know.
when it comes to traction control, my bike before this one was the Versys 1000, which has got the same engine as the Z1000 and the Z1000 SX, and it had 4 modes basically, 0 and 3. And I love the fact that I could decide that okay, it's really wet and slippery and shitty out there, so I'm going to put it on number 3.
Max and good. Yeah.
Just to help me out. It never came on, but it was to help me out. And then when it was a lovely dry summer's day, I would put it on 1 or 0.
1. Yeah.
You know, if I'm doing lots of stop start, I'll probably put it on 1 because I love to give it a fistful, pulling away from lights and get the pops and bangs as the traction control's cutting in and killing the engine, and it's making a lovely noise as you pull down the road.
That's what I'm saying.
Simon, can I ask a question? How would you have thought if you had that set on 3, got yourself into some sort of scenario? I couldn't tell you what the scenario would be, that you were relying on it and it never intervened.
Yeah.
I would like to say I don't rely on it. I would like to say my ride. I know where I am and what I'm doing. So
yeah.
If it failed completely and it came up error, no traction control, it probably would not even bother me. I'd be a bit conscious about giving it as much as I normally would.
Yeah.
Not that it's ever cut in before, but I'd probably be conscious on that.
Well, that's,
I mean, if the bike one day and said K-track not available.
But that's answered. That's probably raised more questions than it's answered. It's answered your personal sort of situation on it, but it's probably there's probably a lot of people that are sitting in hedges just now that can't understand why they're sitting there because they felt that their bike should have got them round the corner.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean? Because like when you're sitting there at a dealership and you're reading all this technical garb saying that this bike will do this for you and this bike will do that for you, it will get you out of this trouble or get you out of that trouble, and before you know it, you're in that trouble. The bike doesn't do what it says because the certain parameters that you actually put that bike into it can't deal with.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there like that.
Well,
how did that
Can
happen?
I just say something?
Go on.
The difference is we were brought up, and you guys were probably riding bikes that didn't have all that on it. So you got used to how the bike handles without ABS, without traction control.
My first bike had a 6-volt fucking magneto on it.
Yeah. But the thing is, nowadays, is everything what's coming out, because it's got to meet Euro 5 or Euro 4 standards and everything, there's got all these gimmicks on it. So people are becoming more reliant on the electronics rather than pure handling skills.
Which I think Mark's thing at the beginning when he asked the question, are we becoming reliant on it?
Yeah.
So
people are.
the simple answer is yes. It's like you look
Yeah.
at Tesla. Tesla's what is it? They call it hazard avoidance systems or whatever it is that they call it. But then you look
Going
at
back to the EV.
you have to go onto YouTube and you look at a Tesla Model 3 crashing into a lorry. It can't identify a lorry lying on its side because the
Right.
lorry's had an accident and the Model 3 plows into the side of it because it couldn't identify a lorry sitting on its side because the algorithm hadn't calculated that.
Well, that
Because
happened with
some
Jeremy.
computer expert but couldn't predict that a lorry could potentially be on its
Well, that
side,
happened
so the
with
car wasn't ever looking for it.
yeah, well, that happened with Volvo, didn't it? With old Jeremy Clarkson, when they first fetched out their car with its automatic braking on it. And
that's
that.
right. He went
It all
through
went
the
along,
hangar,
and it just bloody didn't stop. You know, the car just carried on.
But the thing about it is, Matt, at the time that they were trialing that, none of the cars, BMW couldn't do it, Mercedes couldn't do it. Live testing, they could do it under their own conditions, but they couldn't do it in a live test.
We were
Can you imagine if they fitted all cars with anti-brakes, that if there was an obstruction, they'd stop? How much less some of these fucking plebs in the car would fucking pay less attention to what's going on?
Correct. Yeah. Absolutely correct.
But this is what I'm saying, is we were brought up in the era of, you know, and I'm 50 this year. I passed my driving test when I was 17. So cars up until a certain point didn't have that. My first car was a 1972 bloody Mini. You know,
have any of you seen a video that was produced by Saab? They took I'm not even going to mention it. They took the cars onto a ring, and it was a banked oval, and I think it was the Saab 9-3 at the time, and this was technology that Saab had back then. And what this was, the lead Saab had lasers looking at the sides of the road, and it had one pointing forward and one pointing at the edges. It had a laser at the back, and what that laser did was send a signal saying, I'm doing 93 mile an hour, and that's my speed. The car behind it picked up that signal saying, I'm doing 93 mile an hour, and that car sat right on its bumper. And all it did was look at the sides, and Saab had 4 cars going round this ring, nose to tail, one after the other. And then a test engineer slowed the car at the front down, sped it up, slowed it down, and none of the cars collided because all the cars were communicating with each other.
It's like that. Another you just brought the point up there. Cars now will even park for you.
Yeah.
You know.
What you just said, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying. What Lover Reviews just said. People can't parallel park without using the camera. You know, I've had estate cars with no cameras on it, and I can go on my driveway very easily. You know,
well, the worrying thing is now I'm now learning to drive Class 1 MGB heavy goods, and I've got to learn to back that fucker up. There's no cameras on that.
No.
It's just as well I know how to do it. So
yeah,
you certainly don't feel like you've hit organic material.
You get a squashy sound. It's not an alarm; it's a squashy sound.
No, normally it's just scraping of the bicycle under your back wheels when you turn left.
Keep going until the scraping stops, and you know they've worked their way out.
Yeah, but this is the thing. People nowadays, or 17-year, 18-year-olds nowadays, are learning to drive or whatever on the road with vehicles what have got all these bloody gimmicks on them, which we didn't have. You know, so we got used to handling. We could feel what the car were doing or bike were doing. You know what I mean? You get that feeling. You know when the back end's going to kick out. You know, and what to do. And nowadays, because of all the reliance on electronics, a lot of that skill's gone.
My first car didn't even have a fucking stereo.
Well, to be quite honest, my driving it was a Peugeot 205, probably one of my favourite cars.
Yeah, I had one of them. Yeah,
and it was a
GTI.
No, it was a
GTI
diesel.
version.
Yeah, I
Was
learned.
I tell you what, the
1.9
1.9 diesel was fantastic because I had
oh,
a
that was a
that's-
good motor. Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
I
with a
learned in.
1.9,
Right,
yeah.
I learned in a 1.9 diesel. Right, but
Yeah,
when you're saying that, my driving instructor had in the if you know your your 1.9 diesel 3-door, you've got the big
Yeah.
quarter panel at the back. He had
Yeah.
a
Stickers.
sticker.
yeah,
No, but he had a sticker, and he said, Stuart, if you're reversing round a corner, as long as you keep that sticker on the curb, you will
Yeah.
never
Make
hit
it,
the
yeah.
curb.
Well, I learned to
And-
drive
and
in the
like how-
309. I learned to
Yep.
drive in the 309 diesel, and my instructor was the same. He had got stickers on his back window, like, sort of saying rubbish.
Yeah.
But he'd lined them up in such a way because he couldn't put just a sticker on there because these bloody examiners would just rip them off. So he
Yeah.
had like, sort of like Pepsi or something on the back, and the eye of the Pepsi. If you line that up when you were reversing around the corner and that, you knew you were just going to go right around it and you were
Yeah.
the right distance away. And that's what I'm saying. People nowadays are a lot too reliant on the electronics in the cars, and same as probably on bikes. They're not old school like us, where we, like I say, I had a 1972 Mini with 13.5-inch Monty.
I
None of
probably
that. So
see the thing about it is, Matt, I probably wouldn't even say they were worse. There were any worse drivers or riders than us. It's just
No.
it's a different climate. Now they've been set a test just like us. It might be different. You might class it as being better or worse than the test that we had to go through, but they've still had to go through some sort of testing.
Yeah.
You have to appreciate that if you've passed your test, whenever it was, that it was set at that time with the best intentions. If they've passed their test within their time and their genre, fair play to them.
Yeah, but when we passed our test, all what we had was a cassette player in the car and not one of these fancy radios.
That's fair enough. But see nowadays the kids are take the next and the left, and while we're taking the next and the left, swipe right on Tinder.
Tinder, that's what I'm saying. That's
grinder.
As Simon says, there's too many gadgets now, and that's what's distracting them. It's like there were no mobile phones or anything, and you didn't have them Bluetooth to your dashboard or like that.
My personal opinion about motor vehicles, be it bike or car, is that they should be dead zones to mobile phones. You should not allow a signal within them.
No.
The government should bring out a regulation. Now, how many cars have sat navs?
Yeah.
Pretty much every car you buy now has a sat nav.
Got sat nav, yeah.
Now you can attach your phone to any car now and receive and make phone calls. So there's no need to switch a phone on, check a text message, or otherwise. So anyone who is caught doing so should automatically lose their license. As far as I'm concerned, don't care who has been caught. Otherwise, I don't care, because you could have knocked me off my bike at some point or another if you've done it.
I've got a scenario for you, by the way.
I was about to say, my car on my steering wheel, it's got a button for answering the phone. So,
Cars nowadays, right? You're in your car, 4x4, whatever you want to call it. Oh. Just waiting. I thought I was going to get kicked off. SUVs, right? You're driving along. Your wing mirror tells you there's somebody at the side of you, so you don't do nothing, right? So you become reliant on it. So if that doesn't beep at you, you overtake, right? Imagine when that, which it'll probably come, that technology goes on bikes when you don't shoulder check.
Stop that.
Where we going to be then?
Right. So, like, my opinion is that no matter what technology is in a car or a bike, you, as the operator of whatever vehicle it is, are solely responsible for any manoeuvre that vehicle may make. Whether you're reliant on technology or otherwise.
But
So
you're sensible. And
yeah,
no everybody else
I know, but
did you just swear at him? You called him sensible.
sometimes.
I tell you what, it'll come to the day we'll have bloody helmets like they have in the F-35 fighter, where it don't matter where you're looking, you can see all the way around you.
The thing about it is, Matt, there are helmets like that. There are helmets like that. The review, is it the review that's got the rear view helmet, the camera in it?
Yeah.
And there's also another one that flashes lights when there's a car coming at your right hand side. A car come. The technology's there, but
you could nah.
If you're to accept that a helmet's flashing on the right hand side, and if you accept that there's a car coming there, and you don't pay attention to it, you're solely responsible for it yourself. You're in control of the vehicle you're sitting on.
Yeah, I'll still do my shoulder checks. I won't rely on any technology, to be honest, because it's only
I shoulder check in my car.
Do you know what? My kids take the piss out of me when I'm in the car now.
Yeah.
Because I lean with it. I shoulder check.
Yep.
And my kids take the piss out of me now because of that. Because I'll be in the car going around the corner. I'm leaning with a car.
Well,
I'm doing shoulder checks.
See when I'm in the car and I'm taking the kids down to Largs, I'm like, see if I'm on the fucking bike, I'd be overtaking this guy by now.
I'll tell you, you ask my wife Tracy, we're going somewhere and I'll go, for fuck's sake. She say, what's that? I'll say, if we was on the bike, we'd be there by now.
So what is it, Dad? It's like, well, it's a left and then it's a left again. It's like I'd be out here. That's a straight. I can see down the road. It's like, oh my god.
It's
that one's 60, that one's 80. I can get around that.
Right, that's exactly that,
80.
It's like me when I'm sat in the car and I think I could filter down by this traffic, if I was on the bike.
Mark, I was talking about you in Rev Bomb streaming, and that was when we were talking about the Largs Road, and I was talking about going over it and over it and over it, and I was talking about learning the speeds. We had the conversation. Way back when I first met you, we talked about it, and it's
that's
like
about 2 years ago.
Yeah. And building the confidence and building your experience up, and you know that you can take a corner at that speed, so you step it up a wee bit and so on and so forth.
But to be honest, I think we've all got
and then
that
comes back to knowing your bike and when it's starting to feel like it's not being comfortable.
But it's understanding that it's a way of understanding your bike as well. It's like, because like if you're coming into a corner and you go around a corner and you think to yourself, my bike would have actually handled that a wee bit faster. So the next you mentally take a note, right? I went round that corner at 70 miles an hour. The road conditions were this, that, and the next thing. So the next time you come round, you know what? I'm going to do it at 75, and you go round at 75, and the attitude of the bike doesn't change. So you think to yourself, you know what? 80 mile an hour, no, 70 mile an hour. Sorry if there's any police listening. But no, you understand what I mean. So you would make progress until you were.
But I think we've all
had a nice flow.
Tell you
Mark
what,
and I had this conversation.
Say 80 mile an hour because they got approved time, location, and date.
But we had this conversation 2 years ago, mate, didn't we?
Aye. Yeah, but I think we've all got that. We've all got that one road, what we know like the back of the hand, and it's like me. Every car I've had, I've always taken it down the same road, so I can know its limits. Yeah. And you gradually push it and push it and push it, and then you get to the stage of, I'm not going to risk it anymore now, sort of thing. Yeah. I think we've all got that one road, what we do that on. Yeah,
definitely. The last 3 bikes I've had, I've benchmarked them on the same road, and it's the road I'm talking about what I spoke about with Mark. Because Mark and I were talking about riding, and I said to him, I says, listen, if you want to know your bike, if you really want to know your bike, take it on a road a road that you're familiar with and push
Yeah.
it, and then the next time just push it a wee bit more.
More and
just,
just yeah.
I'm not talking about, and Mark will testify to this. I'm not talking about just being silly and ragging a bike until you fall off. That's not what I was talking about.
No.
Just stepping up, and stepping up until you get to a level where you're thinking,
You think
this is where I am.
happy
And it
at.
becomes
Yeah.
a comfortable position for you. And you know what your bike will do at a certain speed on a certain attitude of corner.
Yeah.
And it pays its
I've
way.
got-
It really does.
Plus, that can help.
I've got two turns on the way to work. They're just off the motorway and on the slip road, and it's on my last video. And it's a nice left, which is really, really fast, and then it's a right that's tightening. And I know exactly what speed I want to be in what weather condition I want to take that corner.
Yeah.
Because I've ridden it and ridden it and ridden it. I've ridden it in the temperatures you got now, and I've also ridden it when it's been lashing down with rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get to know your bike. You get to know how it feels. You get to know when your bike is comfortable.
Yep.
Yeah.
And by comfortable, I mean it's not on the edge where it's going to slip, and it's not at the point where you can push it. It's that
happy
happy
place.
sweet spot.
Yeah.
It's got a happy sweet spot, and every bike has got one, and every bike is different. And this particular corner on mine, I know that I can drop my gear and throw it into the right hand side of this corner, and I can apply this much throttle, and as I'm going round, the bike is saying to me, yeah, I like this, but if I give it a bit too much throttle, the bike starts talking to me and it says, no, I don't like it. And
I think what a lot of people don't appreciate is that the difference between a lot of bikes, not necessarily power, not necessarily handling, it's the length of time you've got within that sweet spot.
Before you make a mistake.
Every sweet spot changes. It's like if you go into
and it changes on how much your tires are worn as well.
Even
I don't care what you say or anybody says, tires square off.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
And once they start squaring off, corners become uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that's one issue. It's also the type of tire you've got on it. It might be a really soft, sticky Diablo something, which you can really lay the bike over and it'll go round. Or it could be a hard sporting touring compound that you can't quite lay it over that far, but it'll go so far and it'll feel comfortable and, longevity of tire. So there's so many different factors that go into actually doing it. The same bike will be completely different on both types of tires.
But the good thing is, for this conversation we're having tonight, it reinforces the fact that we know the bike, we know the feel, we know everything that goes with that. With all the electronics that are on the bikes nowadays, the new generation don't know that.
No.
They don't feel it. They
No,
don't feel
because
it.
even, not being funny, even 125 now is starting to come with bloody ABS and everything on it. Luckily enough, I've got dual brake. Well, unluckily enough, I've got dual braking, which I hate. But I ain't got no traction controller out. But now, even the newer bikes are starting to come out with all the gimmicks on it on 125.
Yeah.
I
just feel for all the women or the younger generation with the boys trying to find the clitoris.
Yeah.
I knew you
Don't
were
need a knack for that.
We'll all get tattoos saying press here or rub here.
You sat back there like that, and I went, he's going to come out with something.
It was. You know it too well, mate.
What is it? It'll be tattoo saying swipe left and right here or something like that. Insert tongue here. No,
sometimes too much intervention is just like you feel like no, enough's enough. You have to sort of experience or have some sort of experience, like whether it's like when you're accelerating, decelerating. I do agree, Mark, what you're saying when it comes to braking. Any assistance on braking that when it's an emergency and you maybe snatch, and I've done it myself, I've snatched a brake, and it's the most unnerving feeling that you can ever have. and I wish it on absolutely nobody that's on here or ever watches this. Yeah, assistance on braking, 100%. But
Yeah.
the rest of the feeling of the bike, no, don't take the heart and soul away from the bike. Don't take the control away from the rider when it comes to power and performance. But
Yeah.
when it comes to stopping it safely, when it comes to possibly saving somebody's life, even the rider's life, then yeah, I would agree with it. But
Yeah.
because it all become, I think if you go full electronics, everything becomes very sterile.
Yeah, and numb. You don't
And
get that feeling
a
now.
sterile. Can you imagine riding a motorbike in a sterile situation? That because I don't care who is actually looking at the way people ride bikes, that they would never be able to predict every single scenario that a bike rider might find themselves in. So if you create a sterile situation that a bike rider actually finds themselves in something that they've not predicted, how horrible would that be? When you apply the brakes, when you maybe have to accelerate, when you have to get yourself away from a situation, that traction control kicks in and drags you back into the situation. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's so many incalculable scenarios that an algorithm ultimately cannot get you out of. But braking is one of the things that they can predict, and ABS is. Can you, Z-Head, lover of you, it's Z-Head Motovlogs is my channel name. Generally on all of
watching this, I'm 8 away for 800. Just cause Zed put his thing in, so I'm putting my thing in.
Bro, Mark, can I tell you something? Right, it's like I was telling Simon a wee story. What Simon was it in Rev Bombs about my boss following my channel?
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
aye.
So I'll tell you the wee story, Mark. So I'm working this week, right? My boss pulled me into my Stuart, I want to speak to you. And I'm like, oh, what have I done? I'm trying to think if I crashed into a pallet, if I caused the company damage. And he's like, because he had an aneurysm 12 years ago, and he's just get back into biking, and he's bought a Triumph. So obviously his brain injury is not healed yet. So only kidding, Triumph owners. No, it's,
no,
so
never,
like,
never apologise to Triumph, never.
No, so he's just bought a Triumph. So he's like, I'm looking for sort of like-minded riders in my area. So I was looking at riders within like the Ayrshire area. I'm like, all right, yeah, Graham, that's fine. He's like, I found a YouTube channel, the Ayrshire Vlogster. I was like, Graham, he's a dick. He's like, honestly, no. I'm looking at this. It's like, no, Graham. It's like, that's my mate. It's like the funny thing is, Stuart, I said I was watching the Ayrshire Vlogsters. He had one of those, they call it a live stream, and I'm starting to sweat, right? So I've got sweat running down the crack of my arse, right? And he's like, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I recognise that guy, and I'm like, oh, I fucking know what's coming here. He's like, right, okay. He's like, it was you. I was like, I fucking know it was me. And he's like, so just in short, Stuart, I've subscribed to Ayrshire Vlogster, I've subscribed to Lockwood, and I've subscribed to you, and I'm like, oh, that's fine, that's all right then. I'm like, it just shows you who's watching your channel, mate.
Get him to subscribe to this one as well. We could see you getting pissed on Friday night.
Yeah.
I think he already knows, mate.
Right, I'll put Z-Ed's link, Airshire's link, and MT Valley's link in the side chat there. So.
Cheers, buddy.
Thanks very much, Simon. Appreciate that.
There you go, love a review. There's the three of us you can follow.
Yeah, love
Yeah,
you. Incidentally, most of my vlogs are done naked.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Some of them are done wearing a bright green mankini. Let's be
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And
And some
just
co-
make sure you've got a blanket in the pillow when you watch mine, because I'll bore you to death.
All you need to wait for the Wild Bad weekend with Lockwood in that hotel. I'm quite sure there'll be something going on.
That'll be on your OnlyFans page, won't it?
a Breaking Bad weekend.
Hashtag broken bad weekend.
I'm definitely doing a video with that name, by the way. Definitely.
The Broken Back weekend.
Logging the Balamas, can on this. That's all about madness.
Oh, you got to put a Scottish twist on it. It's got to be the wee Broken Back weekend.
Oh, that's even better.
There you go.
There'll be something. That's good.
Just get worried when you see the.
And if you can, work William Wallace into it. Yeah.
I'll show him my William Wallace.
Freedom!
Aye, freedom. He shouts that when he pulls out his pants. Freedom! Stands like that, doing the helicopter.
I'd love to say I could do an helicopter, but it's more like a mini drone. But
oh my god.
Mine's is more like a strimmer. Mine's only hits the grass now, Simon.
How the fuck do we get away with doing this live on YouTube every fucking Friday?
That's great, isn't it? That's great.
I'll say, just make sure you take plenty KY with you, or will it be Castrol GTX oil or something like that? Yeah.
It's got to be Castrol. You can't use KY. You're a biker. It's got to be Castrol.
Castrol GTX.
Definitely.
Oh man.
Wait, Mark, where is the Wild Bad?
20,000 mornings on this video.
Where is the Wild Bad weekend? Where is it?
Derbyshire.
All right, okay.
Where?
So we're going on the Thursday. We're going to stay in a hotel. We're going to go to the, what is it they call it? They've got a name for it, and we'll go a day with Richie Vida.
Okay.
Whatever he decides to take us in, we'll go back to the site, and then it's whatever we want it to be. We've got Friday
Where
night.
you going? Derbyshire?
Yep.
You say Derbyshire? Whereabouts?
Yep. No, that's asking a question. Because it's just like a GPS thing, but it's in Derbyshire, aye.
All right, because you're only down the road from me.
Well,
Depending what area Derbyshire you're in, that is.
Well, Nottingham, Derbyshire is a fucking huge area, so.
Well, the postcode, I'll send it to you, MT.
Yeah, because most of it's.
Pick it in the private chat, you'll pick it up, yeah?
Yeah, because.
I need to go and find it, but
if it's sort of North Derbyshire, around the Matlock and Bakewell area and that, you're not that far away from me.
the idea.
Mm.
I know a Drawson, Irvine, Paisley,
Matlock's
Yeah, Matlock, that's even better.
Aye, Matlock. I've done Matlock, Moulton Melbury, or down that way. Where was it that what's his name? Chris Walker Kawasaki. Where was that?
Oh, Claycross Kawasaki.
Aye, that was down that way as well.
Chesterfield, that
yep.
Chesterfield area. Claycross Quad. That's where my brother got his bike from.
I'll send you the postcode, mate.
Yeah.
I've just had a strike on my YouTube. Apparently Stu's showing too much leg.
Too much. Where's my leg? Where's my leg? Oh, that
beyond your arm.
I was wondering.
Because you've got Lady Bowell.
He's sitting there in a t-shirt and his boxer shorts. Who'll know it?
I just like my wife runs on with my teacher.
Yeah, because if you're that area, so like the Derwent Valley area. Sorry, Mark.
Settlement.
If you're Derwent Valley area, you've got the Lady Bower Dam, which is where the dam busters practice,
All right.
and that around that area, which is worth going to see.
No, I'll certainly send you the postcode, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, in other news,
Mhm.
I'm going to be in Glasgow in October.
Right, okay. So when are we meeting?
Well, this is it. I've got to get the dates confirmed. My union has got an event going on. I'm going to be spending 2 to 3 nights in Glasgow.
Right, okay.
So I'll have to let you know what hotel it is, and we'll.
Right, so that's a night out then.
Oh, fucking definitely. I want to know where the strip clubs are. I want to know where.
Stu,
Just
that
get-
means we can rob them.
You can rob me if you like. I'll be on expenses.
Even better.
Yeah. 40 quid
So-
for a
so
meal.
If,
30 quid
that-
for
if
drink.
that's
Oh,
the
yeah.
case,
And
Mark,
100
you're
I've got
getting
mine.
MT10 SP. Just phone Triumph tomorrow. I'll pick it up in October.
But I will be
No,
coming
Simon,
up on the plane,
100%.
so.
Listen, mate, let us know as soon as
Mhm.
possible.
As soon as I've
holidays.
got the dates set, what I'm going to be there, I'll let you know. Yeah.
I've got. I think it's second, possibly third week. I think it's the third week in October. I've got a week's holiday scheduled, and it'd be awesome if it was then because I've even if it's earlier, I might be able to get it off because my supervisor asked me if I could change my holidays because she booked a cruise, so I might be able to change my holidays because of that. So
And failing that, you could always go to your manager and say, "I'm meeting this huge moto blogger."
no, I'll just send them a photograph of a positive COVID test. With a big thumbs up like that. Sorry, boss.
But yeah, I'll be up there
Stu, we
for
can take 'em to the
a
Goose.
2-day event. So I'll be staying 3 nights. I'll be flying
What's
up.
that, Mark?
We can take them to the Goose in Glasgow.
Hmm.
Mm.
I don't like the
Right.
sound of this already.
Well, Simon, you're okay as long as you don't say anything, because if fun out your English, then God help you.
Well,
It's all right. We'll protect you.
No, mate. Honestly, if you're coming up in October, we're getting pissed, man. That's
yeah,
100%
absolutely.
That's happening.
I'm on
That's happening.
expenses, so I'll be pissed anyway, regardless whether
Right.
you're there or not. So.
Excellent, Mark. Listen, if there's a wine the day, we'll be on it anyway.
Yeah, that's it. Right, exactly. I'm there.
Excellent.
That sounds
If we
good.
can drag the little man along as well, what Lockwood, that'd be fun. Yeah.
I'm sure of listen
Aye,
if
it'll
we
be
can get
fine.
enough sort of notification and time, he'll be there.
It's just a
100%.
shame that it's worked out the way it is because I'd love to go up there on the bike, but because of work constrictions and the cost of because I'm going to claim back whatever I spend, so
Yeah.
you know what they pay per mile compared to what I can get a plane for, they'll go, no, you're getting a plane. So yeah.
We can go full mental at it then if there's no bikes involved.
Absolutely. That's the whole thing. None of us need to worry about how we're riding home. So
Nope, that's it.
I'll walk for Glasgow. I've done it before. I'll swim down the Clyde.
I'll tell you what.
No, I'll be fine.
Speaking of drinking, the funniest thing I ever saw was I went over to see my relatives in Southern Ireland, and it was like one of their bank holidays for all the farmers and whatever. And it comes staggering out this bloody pub, and they're going, "Oh, we're going down the road to the hotel. There's a disco in that." Okay. So I get in the car with my relative. There's like 6 of us in the car, and the driver's pissed as a fucking mute. And then the next thing we know, we were driving along, this fucking motorbike comes by us, we 4 up on it, on the bike. All drunk as a bloody riders, drunk as a skunk. And I tell you what, The following day we saw two of them, and they've got bloody arms in plasters because apparently they come off the bloody bike. Southern Ireland were crazy at that time for that.
Yeah.
Bloody drink driving laws were non-existent. Yeah.
But a lot of well, Scotland wasn't that strict many years ago. 70s and 80s, like it was a free for all. When you look at it, it's not that long. It's like although we've almost got probably a 0%. I would class it as a 0% tolerance. I wouldn't drink and drive at all.
No, I wouldn't. I don't anyway. But
cheers.
This was in this was the days before Ireland joined the EU, you know, and it was the Irish pump still in that. And it's like I went to one of my relatives. Well, where's the police then? And she pointed, and these two coppers were sat over in the corner with bloody pints in their hands.
No,
you know, they were drinking with us.
that was a common thing. It's like my gran and grandpa stayed in a small town called Houston.
Yeah,
it's a rural town's a farming town.
Yeah,
and we used to go, like we would stay there, and like when I was 17 and 18, I would be in the pub, and you would be standing with all the locals because they all knew us, because like they all knew us when we were growing up, and like the barman would last orders at a bar, and we would be like, because we're townies and they're rurals, we're townies, we'd be walking out and they'd be grabbing us by the shirt. Stay, it's fine. What do you mean?
Yeah.
And all the irregulars would walk out the bar, and then we would have to go out the front door, round the back, and back in.
Yeah.
And we would sit there with police officers with their caps on the table having a pint.
Yeah.
Like, this is magic.
This is how it was in Southern Ireland when I went over. It's like, I went, well, what time's the pub open? Whenever somebody knocks on the front door. What time's it closed? Whenever the last person leaves.
Exactly.
And some of the bloody pubs were like sitting in somebody's front room.
Yeah.
You
know. Mark, see when we were going the Duke's Pass and I was talking about Strathire.
Mm-hmm.
Can you remember we went by Loch Lubnaig and I said that's a great campsite?
Aye.
There's a wee hotel on the right hand side there, and like it was an English man and woman that owned that, and we stayed in that campsite, and we asked him when do you close, and his wife said when he falls asleep. And this guy was still awake when we left, and we just crashed. We crashed out, and he was ready to serve breakfast as we were walking out the hotel. It was mental, and I was like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
Right, I'm gonna have to go because I'm working tomorrow. So
yeah, no problem, Mark. Nice chatting to you anyway.
No bother, mate.
Fantastic to see you, mate. We need to get right soon, bud.
I've got my wee setup going. Aye, well do, mate. I've got my wee setup now, so I should be on more often. So,
we'll
right, and anybody watches this on the rerun or anything like that, you can find Airship Logster in the description under bloggers I follow. So.
Good, because I only need 8 to get to 800.
Let's get him that ready. Come on, guys.
Come on. Push that on.
Do it.
Do it.
And if you subscribe to his channel now, you get to see the Brokeback Weekend with Lockwood.
Definitely.
Valid point.
Live on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
$4.99.
The 900th subscriber gets it free. Allegedly.
Job, yeah.
I'll just put that
900 subscribe gets the empty can of gas from GTX, yeah.
See if the 900 subscriber gets it free, right? He's gonna unsubscribe and he's gonna wait.
Yes, I am.
900. Oh, here it is.
899 subscribe.
Thanks again. Great night.
Cheers, Mark.
Cheers, Mark. Take care, buddy.
Take it easy.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Keep it shiny side up. Yeah.
Will do.
Care,
see you later, mate. Cheers.
It is. Oh, brilliant.
He's a fantastic guy, isn't he?
Such a solid, honestly, mate. Honestly,
Yeah.
Simon, when you meet him, he's not any different. He's just absolutely the way you find him. Mark is such a solid guy. It's brilliant. Just that's one of the things that makes me love motovlogging is the people you meet, like
Yeah.
Oh,
yourself,
yeah.
like Mark,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Mark, Lockwood, Davey, Rev Bomb,
Yeah.
John. Yeah.
Jim Diesel. I could go on and on and on. Military biker, the whole gambit.
I will admit something. When I had my counselling this week, you lot were mentioned.
Really.
So, yeah. So,
I hope,
in a good
Matt,
way.
I hope you. That's what I was just about to say. I hope you weren't saying, by the way, it's like it's these guys that are
You
dragging
might
me
want to
down.
talk to these guys as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like every time I feel good, I watch these guys and they're just absolutely pulling me. No, it's like,
No,
I'm
you
not
guys
making.
are
I'm not making fun of your situation.
Yeah,
You
I
must
know.
understand, but it's just I'm
Yeah,
trying to.
yeah.
I appreciate that you said that. That's lovely. It's lovely.
Yeah,
that you
you
said
were all
that.
mentioned. So, well, yeah, I feel great this week, to be honest. It's weird. She gave me this bloody thing to do every day, sort of thing. And it's like, at the minute, I'm on the high, because I think it's because I'm finally getting the bloody help I needed. So,
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's positive. You need to ride with that though. That's just
Oh,
it.
yeah.
You need to ride the wave. Ride the wave.
I'm just waiting for this bloody weather to cool down a bit, though, so I can get out on the chuffing bike.
Too fucking hot, mate. It is down here. Too hot.
Oh, I wouldn't like to put my summer gear on and my bloody jeans and my bloody helmet on and my gloves and my boots. I'd be just a puddle on the floor. I tell you.
It comes to something when I get to work and I have trouble taking my gloves off because my hands are that fucking sopping inside. It's just like,
Yeah.
God,
Well, it's when I came. Well, it's like when I came back from that Lonely bike meet what I went to. It was a bloody hot day, that was. I come back and I literally lifted the flip front up on my helmet to take my glasses off so I could get my helmet on. And I was leaning forward and the amount of bloody sweat what was dripping off of me. It was like, jumping hell. It was like, let me get in the house and get out of this gear, It was like crazy.
I know.
It's like I've got a nice summer jacket, and that, well, Mrs. and kids treated me to, which is fantastic, because it's got all the vents in it and everything, and all the protection. But even wearing that in this weather, it can just kill you.
Well, that jacket I've got up there is my Denise jacket, and it's like a bit of basically it's made out of a tea bag. It's full of holes everywhere.
Yeah, that's like my Frank Thomas one. It's got. If I hold it up to a light, you can see straight through it.
Yeah,
you can see all the perforations in it. Yeah.
Even though I'm moving at 80 mile an hour on the motorway, 70 mile an hour on the motorway, I'm still feeling the hot air hitting me.
Because it's because the actual atmospheric hit here is hot. So you're not getting that cooling.
Yeah. Oh Jesus.
There's some instances in Scotland where you might have 27, 28 degrees, but there's still snow. Showing on part of a hill. Not a whole hill. I'm just talking about maybe like a crevasse in some part of a hill.
That's why the air rescue in Scotland is so fucking busy.
Yeah, it's perverse. It really is. Like it's like if you're talking about 28, 29 degrees.
Last night.
Roland, how you doing?
Yeah.
Nice to see you, sir.
Hi, Roland.
How you going, guys?
It's like 28, 29 degrees in England. I can't understand that to us. We're out in the water. Honestly, our wee blue bodies are turning pink. That's what's happening.
You turn into a cooked lobster instead of a raw one, are you? That?
Yeah, definitely. You are all talking about stopping riding. We're all talking about taking a jumper off.
Yeah. Right, Roland. latest weather from over in the UK. Well, I know me and Simon are both on a red warning for extreme heat, and I reckon it's going to get up to, what is it, 30 odd, 40 degrees?
It's going to be
like
near 40 degrees.
Yeah,
Celsius.
40 degrees. See.
Oh, that's nice stuff. That.
No, it
for
ain't.
us,
It's fucking horrible.
In Scotland, Roland, they're saying taps off. That's what they're saying. Get your tap off.
Yeah, right. Well, we're in 11 degrees here, so it's.
I've got to fucking pray for 11 degrees. I can turn my heated grits on and be comfy.
No, you guys should go out for evening rides when it's hot. That's when it's nice. I love
I'm
going
thinking
out.
of going out at 2 in the morning when it's only 18 degrees. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's not so much the heat; it's the bloody humidity.
Yeah.
That's
Well, where I am, in the part of the country I'm in, it's very dry heat. We have, like, in summer, we have basically 5% humidity or less. So, a 40 degree day feels like a high 20 degree day.
Yeah, I've been over to Turkey a couple of times, and we've been walking around in like 40 odd degrees heat in Turkey, and with zero humidity, and it's very, you can withstand that. But as soon as you get that bit of bloody humidity in the atmosphere, fucking hell, it's horrible.
Yep. Starts choking you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Zed, on your latest video, when you were talking about putting air in your tires, were you referring to the 14?
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that with mine. If I'm only a couple of pounds out, you can really feel it on them.
Straight away, Roland.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
You notice it.
Yeah.
You notice it right away. It's like you sit on it. You're like, what's going on? It's alien.
Yeah.
And like, right, go for air. Straight away.
It's the only bike I've ever had that a couple of pounds, 1 or 2 pounds tire pressure out, you can really feel it. Anything else, I've never felt it.
Yeah, definitely. 1400. It's like unless you've got exact tire pressure, it feels like a different bike.
It really does. It doesn't handle as well.
Yeah, you have to square it up. You have to get it right.
Yeah.
Before you ride it, because it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't turn in right. It doesn't come out of corners right. It's so lumpy. It's just ridiculous.
The moment you mentioned that, I thought to myself, I know exactly what you're saying there. Exactly.
Yeah.
What are you running yours?
I run mine at 41 psi front and back.
Right. I run 42 front and back.
Okay.
Yeah. But as soon as it goes under 40, you can feel it.
Well, I don't I'll run mine. I'll set mine up at 41. If I've not ridden the bike in maybe 1 or 2 days, I'll straight to the garage. I'll fill up with fuel, 41 psi straight away. Now, if I'm running it for a couple of days in a row, I don't need to do anything to the tires, because when I'm putting heat into them, obviously the psi will maybe go up one psi, or it'll maybe drop just with the air temperature, and that's fair enough. But if I leave it for any more than a couple of days without actually running it, I'll definitely go back and I'll fill it up with air, regardless of what it was before I left it. I like it being 41. That's just my optimum. That's the way I like riding it.
You ever thought about, like, what is it, nitrogen for the tyres rather than air?
It's normal air.
I had one of my cars. I got 4 new tyres put on it, and the garage of that, they've got sure it's nitrogen.
Yeah.
They put
nitrogen in the tyres because it's less susceptible to the heat, so it doesn't expand and contract as much.
And also it doesn't escape as much, because it was like, I must have had that done, and it was like, it was probably about a year before I started the tyres, I noticed pressures were dropping on it.
No, I think
You know,
I honestly think if air's escaping from tyres, nitrogen's escaping through the same gaps.
Yeah.
I would honestly say
it's
that.
something to do with the molecule size, isn't it? I think it's something to do with the molecules. But I had that. I thought it was brilliant. The car ran great on it.
See, like I work with hydraulic systems all the time, and when I'm working with hydraulic accumulators, we use nitrogen because it's not susceptible to moisture. It's also like when it comes to temperature differences, it's more stable. If I was talking about air and tires, nitrogen, you're talking about top fuel. You're talking about high end stuff. For nitrogen to be making any difference.
It does make a difference. Well, it did on the car, but
what nitrogen does is, I mean, I've got the tyre valve pressure sensors on my bike, and when I leave home, I flick it over just to make sure they're both 42. Well, by the time I get to the end of the road and a half, if I look at it when I get to work, they'll both be at 46 or 47. They've expanded that much because of the rolling road. The heat that's built up in them. If you had nitrogen in them, they'd probably both still be at 42, maybe 43. They don't expand as much and they don't contract as much in the cold. So you don't need to keep checking that often. And topping up. So
I just wondered if you'd ever done it in your, on your bike.
No, never done it on your bike. No.
Like I say, it's like I filled up many a hydraulic accumulator with nitrogen.
Yeah.
It's only to equalize. See, the accumulators on the molding machines that we use, they use hydraulic pressure. So what they do is like if you want an accumulator to have say 120 bar worth of hydraulic pressure, you charge it a bladder with 120 bar of nitrogen, basically. So the hydraulic oil can push against it, and the sensor the sensor can monitor the pressure, and it knows that the hydraulic pressure is pushing against that nitrogen sac and creating it's basically a hydraulic transducer. That's basically what happens. And it's
even in house.
So it's like stored pressure. So
and
the reason they do that on hydraulic molding machines is stability. That's the whole thing, because like the temperature differences in a injection molding machine, when you're talking about molding temperatures of 220 degrees, nitrogen is more stable than oxygen. So that's why they do it. So it can deliver the hydraulic pressure that you're looking for when you need it. And it's consistent. It's consistent.
Consistent and more accurate.
Yep. But it's tires. I would say racing circumstances.
I know they do with like Formula One and things like that. MotoGP in nitrogen.
I don't think Formula One use nitrogen though, because they rely. They load to about 12 or 13 psi.
They
rely on low psi, isn't it?
They rely on the heat from the tires to inflate and give them maximum.
So it's the tire temperature that increases the psi.
I mean, because
by the time they get up to
their tires is about 180 degrees. It's fucking melting.
By the time they get to operating temperatures, they're about 20 something ish. PSI from 10 or 13 or whatever it is. It's interesting when you look at their graphs, when you look at the
with the weather you guys are having, your tires will be up to temperature as soon as you get down the street.
Hey,
I didn't take your bike off the fucking stand and the tires are melting.
Hey, I tell you what, we've got gritters going around putting sand on the road.
Yeah, we have.
We've got the old gritters out, what we normally have out in the winter. They're going around putting sand on the road.
No, we've
not. Because the bitumen's starting to melt and they're trying to soak up that bitumen, so it's
Right,
not slippery.
yeah. So
Yeah. I saw a video earlier on today of one of them going down the road depositing sand on the road. You know, I know around Nottingham they've been out and about doing it.
What's the purpose of the sand?
Deliver the bitumen on the road to absorb it because the
Yeah,
roads are becoming
absorb the
sticky.
bitumen and stop it becoming a solid surface on the road. You can slip on. That's the idea of it. But
Okay.
so Roland, see when they're manufacturing roads in the UK, there's quite a high bitumen concentrate within the roads. So when the temperature gets too high, it creates like it's too much slippage, basically.
basically creates an oil, doesn't it?
Yeah, so it becomes like a slick. So what they do is they put sand or some sort of ground composite within it. Sometimes it's like a glass kind of whatever the substrate is. They put that within it, and it kind of dampens down the slippage of the roads. We don't.
Helps bond
Scotland
it so
wise,
it don't move. Yeah.
Scotland wise, we don't get it as
If
much.
you can find a road with what's got tarmac on it and it ain't full of frigging potholes, with garden gnomes sat around them and flower pots.
Simon, would you say it was more of a right now a preventative measure other than a necessity?
Yes.
Would that be fair?
Yeah, because once the bitumen lifts, the cars running over it remove all the bitumen, and then and then you're left with the hardcore tarmac left, which will break up. And that's when you get all your cracks and everything else in it. So yeah.
Very different composition to us by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
So like a lot of the roads.
If you're in America, all the highways and that are concrete and they last forever.
Yeah.
But we don't use it. So
a lot of the time what they do in Scotland is they'll put down a firm road structure. Then they'll put tarmacadam, and then they put what they class as top dressing, which is like a grip shell. It's like a tough aggregate. It's actually white in substance. Round the corners, it's like a top dressing. And what they rely on, believe it or not, in the summer, is for people to actually drive on the road and mash it into the road.
Yeah.
So when you've got when you've got a motorbike and you're driving on a road that the day before was absolutely perfect, let's get this stuff on it that wants to throw you off the corner. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, we get the that grippy white surface you're on about. We call it eggshell.
No, it's the same here. It's the same idea, same composite.
Yeah, it's
same composite.
You get it on the junctions and like you say on some bends and that, it's meant to be a lot grippier surface.
My mate Ross.
Not me.
My mate Ross, Matt stays down in Cottgrave.
You said.
I've spoke to you about him before. He come up to myself in 2015, and he had a group of his friends that were coming up from Nottingham on the Saturday, and he come up on the Friday, and he's like, take me on a road that will maybe go on the Saturday. So I took him on the same route that I was going to take them on the Saturday, and we rode the road that I took him on very, very hard on the Friday. Sorry, we rode that road, and I said, get familiar with it, because when we come down this on Saturday, you'll know where the corners are, you'll know your limits, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So that was fine. Now, it was about 27 degrees when Ross came up, so the roads were in optimum condition. Tyres, the whole lot, everything was absolutely perfect. His friends come up on the Saturday, we went down the same road, and overnight, the council had cut all the corners, renewed all the surfaces, and laid top dressing. And we came into these corners at the same speed we were doing the day before. Now you're coming into a corner at 70 to 80 mile an hour, knowing that the corner can take it because the grip levels are there and it's all loose and the bike's and it should be illegal, it should be banned. They should not be allowed to do it. They should not be allowed. Any council that puts that kind of surface on a road should be culpable for anything that happens, whether it's to a damage to a bike or a human being should be culpable for it because they're willful and they're or they're complicit in the incident. If an accident happens because they have left that road in that condition, they should be accountable for it.
Yeah.
Roland, what would happen in Australia if a council had left a road in a substandard condition that somebody unforgettably was to have an incident on? What would happen?
It would get investigated, but the amount of lawyers and stuff that would be there to protect the council would be amazing. But there has been the odd case where poor road conditions had led to litigation. So not too often though, because the roads, well, in South Australia, the state that I'm in, our roadways are actually fairly good. They're in good condition and they're well maintained, and our weather is a lot more stable. But over in the eastern states where you get flooding and fires and you name it, and extreme sort of weather conditions, the roads there get a lot more punishment than here. And they're pretty shitty to drive around on or ride around on in the most part. But in this state and over towards the west of the country, the roadways are pretty good.
See in Australia, do you? It's like obviously road conditions. Do you class it from state to state? Is it separate? Do you class it as the whole of Australia? Like, I'll give you an example with and the point I'm trying to get at is United Kingdom road tax laws, where we pay road tax to ride or drive on our roads. Now, to make it clear, I pay road tax on 2 motorcycles and a car, and I still drive on roads that have got potholes on them. Do you does your road tax cover, or do you even pay road tax? But if you do, does it cover your state alone, or is it for the whole of Australia? Is it broken down into individual states, or how is it broken? How is it divided up?
We don't pay a road tax.
Okay.
The roads are all maintained by the state governments, and a lot of it is a lot of the roads are maintained, if you like, from council to council, but the budget comes from the state government. And they have, I think after every so many years, irrespective, a road gets resurfaced, whether it's in good condition or not, which is almost pointless, really. But because some of the roads don't even need it, and some roads do, but the ones that don't need it seem to get resurfaced, and the ones that do seem to get sort of left behind. But we don't actually pay road tax.
See Roland, what you're describing, what that's kind of a utopia that Scotland or England or the United Kingdom should be expecting. Like I say, I'm a 3 times over road taxpayer, and I cannot guarantee that if I make any destination or any journey from my house for even 25 miles, that I will not hit 30 or 40 road potholes within that journey.
Well, Zed, explain this to me. I've got a car I pay 0 road tax on, which weighs 4 or 5 times more than my bike
Yep.
and does more damage to the road
Yep.
than my bike, which
because
I pay road tax on.
Yep.
So the road tax isn't going to repair the road. That's not what it's for.
So I'll tell you why you are doing that, and that's because of the carbon emissions. Because the government, for your bike, the government are taking a hit on your carbon emissions, but from the car they're not. So that's a simple thing. You're being rewarded for the fact that your car's not spewing out as much as your bike, even though your bike's spewing out.
So how are you paying this road tax? Is it a separate thing apart from motor registration and insurance?
Well, so you register your car. We don't pay for registration. Roland, to let you know, it's like registration is free in the UK. We pay bike insurance.
Yep.
To cover you have to have insurance to drive or ride your bike in the UK.
Yeah, which none of that money goes to the roads. It's all to the insurance company.
And then you have to pay for a road tax as well on every.
And the only other thing you have to pay for is an MOT.
Yeah.
Yeah, depending on the age of your bike.
The bike has to be tested on an annual basis. So it has to be roadworthy. It has to be insured to drive on the road. And you also have to pay the tax to ride on the road.
Technically, you do have to pay for your registration when you first buy a bike. Because I have to. It's about 25 quid for your number plate.
Yeah,
that's
just an initial registration. It's a one-off payment.
Yeah,
everyone does, because if you even put private plates on a bike, that fee applies.
But
just an on the road fee.
Once you've paid that initial registration, or like if you buy a car second hand, the number plate on that car, the registration plate on that car, will always be on that car. You know, so if I bought a car off a Light Z or a bike off a Z, it will come with that number plate, and then I'll just change the documentation so it's my name, and that stays on that. And if I then sell it again, that goes with that vehicle.
But for the transfer, you don't pay anything, Matt. It's only
you don't pay anything.
The initial putting the plates on the vehicle.
It's like
you don't pay for every transfer.
Yeah. But the road tax now is an environment tax. It's not actually used on the road.
It's becoming an environment
tax. What's that per year?
Well, it depends on what your vehicle is and what its exhaust emissions are.
Right.
So
it's all about exhaust emissions.
I pay 20 quid for my little 125 every year. But it used to be a road tax, and the money used to go towards the repair of the road. Then it swapped into an environment tax, and a lot of the money now goes towards like the NHS, the National Health Service, and local government sort of services. Our council tax, or CEOs. Our council tax now, what we pay for our local council, that money, a certain percentage of that money is meant to be spent on the roads, which is why our roads now are shit, to be honest, because they scrapped the road tax scheme and turned it into an environment tax.
See, the thing about it is, what's happened over the last couple of years, I would say, during COVID, is the fact that everyone is so happy to be alive. Thanks so much that we're out of this whole mess, that the councils and government are being allowed to do what they like. Nobody is holding any council competent, not competent, that's the wrong word. They're not holding them accountable for any tax raising powers that they've got. I think if the local people of all the councils in all of the UK were actually to do disclosures in the UK and ask, how's my money being spent? Now, as far as I'm concerned, if I am paying, which I am, road tax for a car and 2 motorbikes, I should be able to look at my local government and local council and see 3 times as much work getting done on our roads as is.
I tell you how bad it is up here, Stu, where I am. Our council have lost that much money. The government have stepped in and sent somebody up to find out what the hell's going on
Wow. Jesus.
because of it. Because they've
The thing
wasted
about
money
it,
left, right, and
the
centre.
thing about
lost
it is
and-
the thing about it is, Matt, right? It's like without getting massively political about it, because
Yeah.
I don't want to, because
no.
I can't be bothered with politics.
Oh yeah, no.
Because it becomes a whole. It's like if we were to go into like Scotland, England, Ireland, Wales, and
Oh,
so
yeah.
on and so forth, because I know that Scotland wants to become like, or try and gain their independence.
And
It's-
yeah,
You look at I'll give you an example. UK government, right? It's like the United Kingdom government. We are now in the 4th prime ministerial battle since the Conservative Party
they've
were
got
voted
in
in.
power.
So we're now in
Yeah.
the 4th. There isn't one of the prime ministers that Scotland has voted for. So that
I'm voting-
means that no, but Matt, that means that nobody within Scotland
No.
within Scotland has voted for any of the prime ministers that are meant to be representing the whole of the United Kingdom. So any decisions that those prime ministers are making are not on behalf of Scotland. And
No.
it's not because Scotland want to break away from England or Ireland or Wales or anything. Nothing could be further from the truth. We just want equal representation. If there's a party within Scotland that gains the vote of the Scottish people, we want to be heard within the national parliament.
Yeah.
Not to be spoken to by somebody we haven't voted for, or not somebody that we haven't voted to represent us, because
No.
that's not a democracy.
I tell you.
Because like to put it into sort of perspective, there's only 5.5 million people in Scotland. There's more than that in London alone.
Yeah.
So no matter what Scotland votes for, London will outvote Scotland.
Well,
Is that all there is in Scotland?
Yeah, 5.5 million. That's all there is. Roland.
Wow.
We're a lovely little race.
Mm.
Well,
I'll tell you, I'm voting
all we
in
do
next.
is wear Roland. All we do is wear kilts and chase haggis. That's all we do.
We've probably got about 5.5 million Scots here in my state.
I tell you, I want it.
My cousin's from Scotland, and he actually stays in Queensland.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. We need
Stays
to
out
vote.
in the Gold Coast.
We need to
And he
vote.
loves
it. At least he's got a frigging plan on Baldrick out of Blackadder. Yeah.
Matt, see, the thing about it is like, right, without, like I say, without becoming political about the whole north, south, west, east, it doesn't matter to me. We want a United Kingdom. I'm a Scottish person. I want to stay within the United Kingdom, right? It's like I would love the fact that we have a government that governs over Scotland, England, Ireland, and Wales, right?
Yeah.
What I would suggest was that every single party candidates and canvasses in each of those countries.
Yeah.
And whatever the result from each of these countries are, they all then go to their centralized government and try and create a government within themselves.
So yeah.
So you have a representation, a strong representation from Ireland, a strong representation from Scotland, and a strong representation from Wales, as well as England. Because as it is just now, like I said, any vote from London outweighs any vote from Scotland, because Scotland only has 5.5 million population.
population. Yeah, right.
So proportionally, it's not. It doesn't become fair. So, like Nicola Sturgeon has said, we have not voted for the last 4 prime ministers, and that is a true statement of fact. We didn't vote for leaving the EU either, as a true statement of fact. But yet we've been dragged into it because we are attached to the United Kingdom. And as a country ourselves, we don't want that because we're being pulled somewhere we don't want to be.
Yeah.
Because if sorry, Simon, I apologize because this is becoming political, but because like the independence referendum, the Conservative government's argument was that Scotland could not guarantee that they would get back into the EU if they left the United Kingdom. And that's a statement of fact. That was what the Conservative Party said. And when Scotland lost the independence referendum, what's the first thing that the Conservative government did? They took us out the EU.
Yeah.
Which is the very thing that they said that Scotland couldn't guarantee would get back into, because they said they wouldn't come out of it.
We've been run by fucking Kermit the Frog and the Muppets at the moment, anyway.
I wouldn't trust it. See, when you look at the Conservative Party candidates just now, you have to look at every single one of those candidates that was complicit to knowing what Boris Johnson was doing.
Was up to, yeah.
Whether they agreed or disagreed or otherwise, they never spoke up.
Nah.
Any MP that never spoke up against that man doesn't have my vote.
No.
Now, the fact of the matter is that the whole process will go ahead. There'll be a new Prime Minister voted in, and yet again, Scotland, Ireland, and Wales will not have a say about who gets.
None of us are at the minute. No, it's going to be the fucking Prime Minister. You know, it's not like it's gone to general election. It's just them going, I'll pick him.
No,
for the leader. You know.
Right. So here's the thing, right? So why? See, for example, like Simon, you pay your taxes. You're an employee of the United Kingdom. You contribute to society. So do I, Matt. So do you. So why can we not instigate a general election? Why can we not do it? Why can there not be a governing body that turns around and says, "Are you happy with the government that's actually ruling you?" No, I'm not. No. So would you? Do you want to vote? Do you want to vote on it? And it's like a national union.
It's the age-old story, isn't it?
Well, you look at how many times Conservatives have changed the leadership. You know, what is it? Fucking hell.
This is the 4th time within the general election. The 4th time.
Because what was it? Who did we have? There was Theresa May.
Theresa May.
Then we had old fucking Boris.
Yeah.
You know, I can't remember who the other one was.
Boris, Theresa May, and then you had, what's his name? I can see his face.
People want to say Gordon Brown, but it's not Gordon Brown, is
it? He was Labour.
Well, you know what I mean? We've had
it was him that led us out the EU. He said that if he didn't get the right vote, he would stay. He would leave if he get the vote to leave. He would.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Every time one of them's quit the position, we've not had an election to vote who we want in. We've just gone, I'm going to pick that person next.
Nice.
Within the Conservative Party, they've not gone. To me, if one of them retires or quits the PM, it should go straight to a general election again, and not a in-house. Let's pick him because I like his arse better than that other person's arse. You know?
So
I've got mine no further up there.
David Cameron.
That was it. Cameron.
Crumbly had posted before that, and Simon put it up as like there's a small amount of Scottish Tory MPs though. Yeah, there is, but there's a reason for that, and that is the whole Scottish independence debate, and that's the fact that the Tory party actually basically debunked the whole profit that could be made from the Scottish oil fields. Now, see, to be quite honest, British Petroleum, BP, as you all know them, have been told to stop production in the Scottish oil fields.
Yeah.
Right now, Rolly, I love that. That's brilliant.
There he is. It's
Right
still not
now-
worked
Yeah.
out. It's still not worked out that the fucking hairdresser's back open after COVID. have
Right
it?
now, as we speak, if BP were to be told by the Scottish government to start production, we could have fuel prices of £1.30 to £1.40 a litre right now, within 2 weeks. If Scotland was to start, because we have, I think after the independence referendum, there was about 200 to 300,000 barrels of oil in an oil field that was detected within Scotland that's not allowed to be opened or started because the UK have signed up to this green treaty that they're not allowed to extract that oil.
Yeah. But
Whereas it could get the whole of, if Scotland was to be allowed to extract that oil, we could get the United Kingdom out of the problems that is happening right now within 2 weeks. The fuel crisis, everything would be sorted. We wouldn't be worrying about £1.90 or £2 a litre in fuel, because it would just.
I've always
wouldn't
said this though. It happened with Maggie Thatcher was in. You know, every time the Conservatives are in power, this country goes to fucking shit. Excuse my language, just swore then.
Matt, see, to be quite honest, see, looking at it, right? It's like at heart, I was a Labour.
Yeah.
Roland, you probably fell asleep already.
Yeah, sorry, Roland.
I'm sorry about the politics, but it's like I
Sorry,
was
Simon, we've gone political.
I was a Labour Party follower for long enough, but the Labour Party have aspirations, and I quite agree with the aspirations of the Labour Party. But every time the Labour Party get into power, it seemed to me, I'm 49 this year, and in the 49 years that I've been alive, it always seems to me that the Conservative Party have had to put together and fix what Labour have messed up. And then once the Conservative Party had fixed it, the Labour Party come back into power, mess it up again, and back and forward we go. And that seems to have been the way. Back and forward, back and forward. So one comes into power, one falls out of power, one comes into power, one falls out of power.
Is the Monster Raving Lunatic Party still going? Because I'm fucking voting for them, I tell you.
Well, listen. Like, see any party that says that to fill a motorbike up is free, I'm voting for them.
Yeah.
I think we'll
Because
start that party.
I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely sick of it. I'm sick of the whole political agenda. I'm sick of the whole rhetoric that politicians come out with. I'm done with it all.
I just think it's wrong that we don't get to pick the Prime Minister. You know, it's basically it's an arse kissing competition at the moment. You know.
See, technically what does happen is like the whole of the Conservative Party, whether if you're a member of the Conservative Party, they have what they class as hustings, and that happens throughout the United Kingdom. So there is one in Perth in Scotland. Can't imagine. There must be about 4 people and a dog for Conservative Party in Scotland, in all honesty. So they must be voting for win a lot and some dog meat. I don't know. Because they're not voting for any MP.
No.
Because like in Scotland, we feel as if we can see the whole thing about Scotland is we don't want to separate from United Kingdom and not be part of United Kingdom. We feel as if we can be more beneficial to the whole of the United Kingdom if we separate and operate on our own, because one, we become about the 8th or probably 9th richest country within the EU.
Yeah.
Fact. If you read the statistics, fact. One of the biggest exporters of duty, fact, whiskey, oil, so on and so forth. Granted, the income that the United Kingdom gains as a whole, Scotland benefit from that, but how much of the natural resources, being wind and hydroelectric power, are actually put back into the national grid from Scotland that Scotland don't use themselves is probably 60 or 70%. We're putting back into the national grid. If Scotland were to hold on to that, what would happen with the rest of the United Kingdom? Scotland wouldn't do that. We would probably charge it at a premium, but I think it would be beneficial for the whole of the UK if there was certain aspects of the UK that were to operate within their own parameters.
Of their own voice.
But still to be governed by an overall government, but have an equilateral. Not for one sort of country to be able to sort of outvote another. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say, because it has to be beneficial. Why should one country benefit out with another? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but this is fucking England you're talking about. We're used to doing that. Look at all the fucking countries we used to invade through spices and things like that, you know.
But Matt, see the thing about it is, see society. Now you're saying this is an England thing. It's not even a Scotland England thing. It's not even a Scotland England Ireland thing.
No, but I'm just saying that you look at the history of England itself, how many countries we invaded as such, you know, for like spices and things like that. It goes back in history. You know, we ravage places for the resources and then turn it back over to them afterwards and go, oh, sorry about that. You know, you only got to look at the slave industry, you know, how bad we were for that.
Yeah.
It's just how this country's been throughout the history, you know.
That sends me into a wormhole. That does.
No, just saying though, it's true. You look at the British
going down there.
Okay. So, like, you look at the United Kingdom and America invading Iraq, right? So the two of them create a situation where they put forward to their respective countries that there's an issue with Iraq. So the United Kingdom and America invade Iraq. So what's the first thing that they do? They flatten Iraq. Flatten Iraq. Who's the first companies that are offering to reinvest
British and American.
in their infrastructures when it comes to fuel, power, installing democracies, so on and so forth. What's Russia doing in Ukraine just now? Is it any different to America and Vietnam? Is there any difference to United Kingdom and Iraq or Afghanistan? Or
I was just about to bring up Afghanistan. We went into Afghanistan to get rid of the Taliban and that. We lost so many squaddies and all that lot. And guess who replaced him when we all pulled out? Who got back in power? The Taliban. So it's like, well, what was the point? You know?
Yep. We trained Iraqi soldiers. We armed
all
Iraqi soldiers.
That all from you ate. That's all that was.
That was
Yeah,
the
it was all
pipeline.
about securing.
Pipeline.
Yeah,
That's what it was. The pipeline.
yeah, it's all about oil.
Pipeline.
That was.
There's nothing that there's nothing that our countries have invaded or haven't invaded in the last 50 to 100 years that hasn't been financially. See if there wasn't
Beneficial.
any financial gain, we wouldn't.
No, they
Why
wouldn't
would
do
we
it.
bother? Why
Yeah.
would we bother?
Yeah.
Whether it's creating political instability or whether it's overthrowing a government for your own benefit.
Yeah. And it made you
So-
laugh, you know, because the other reason why they went after Afghanistan was after bloody Bin Laden, wasn't it? And where did they find him? In Pakistan. You know.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
Right.
one thing. They found him exactly where he was.
Yeah.
He wasn't anywhere else.
Sorry, Simon, you're right.
Yeah, I'm just going to say I need to go to bed now.
Yeah, I was going to say you look like you're nodding off. So.
Zed, do you want to carry on a live stream after this? Carry on.
No, mate, I'm done. I'm going to my bed, mate.
Sorry, you went a bit down the rabbit hole there, political Simon. Apologies.
Nah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
It's all good. I'll tell you what, my live streams are done for the people in the thing. So
Yeah.
well, it's
Putting the
20
rules
past
right
1.
again.
It's 20 past 1, and I'm
Yeah.
fucked. I really am. And it's
Yeah.
just cooled down to 11 degrees, so I'm going to
I
go
know.
get good for sleep.
Roland's just had his breakfast bagel as well.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he's busy on Tinder. Leave him alone.
But no, great to see you again, Roland. Anyway, so.
Yeah, and you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cheers, Zed. I've enjoyed it as always do.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah.
Roland,
I-
thank you
if
for
you-
coming in. Empty Belly, thank you. And
No, you're welcome.
everybody in the side chat, Lover of You, Crumbly Mail, Ghost Eagle, and
Cool.
all the others.
Hells was
before.
in there briefly. I don't know where Hells has gone.
And
but he was in
everybody's going to watch this on the rerun. Have fun. And leave a comment.
Simon, give us details if you're coming up. Let us know so as we can get that arranged.
I will message you on Instagram. Yeah, definitely.
Brilliant, pal.
Definitely,
It'll
mate.
be brilliant.
Yeah.
Be brilliant. We'll have a good night.
As soon as I've got the dates, I'm going to be there. I will let you know.
So mad, it's going to be messy. Be good, pal. Be good to catch up.
It'll be good laugh. It'll be good laugh.
Yeah,
Anyway,
100%. Mate.
on that note, I'm going to say ta-da, and I'm going to run my outro, and I'm out of here. So
Yeah. Okay,
Cheers,
Take care,
cheers for having
everybody.
us on.
Yeah.
No worries.
Cheers, everybody.
Keep it right
Hey,
side
Matt,
down,
cheers.
shiny side up. Yeah.
Yep. Cheers,
Roland,
guys.
all the best, pal.
Yeah.
Take care.